Good. All right, excellent. Thank you. All right, so today it's interesting because I did not realize this. A lot of people are not great with computers. So that's why today the title is, if you're bad with computers, worst at government contracts, we're going to teach you how to win anyways. If you can send a text, you could do this. And so that's my anthem for today, right? And by the end of today's session, you will see why I said that. Now, obviously things take time getting set up, but again, what I learned from Steve Jobs was, again, how to make his Apple products easier for you to use, simple. And so again, what we've continued to do and innovate is strive for not just getting people information, but getting it to them in a way that they can understand it, that makes sense, that takes away a lot of the jargon and lingo, and then also allows them to quickly find the things that they need, because we're all busy people. And then at the same time, be able to do it in a manner that they're currently using, that they're accustomed to. And so that's the idea today. So believe it or not, unlike some of my other sessions, this is not a masterclass. It's not a tech course. You're not going to learn another website. You're not going to have to hire anyone to do this. And that's really important for me, because that was my biggest goal, right? Is that a lot of times, particularly when you're working with tools and technology, you've got to hire someone, right? Anybody out here knows that feeling is you've got to bring somebody on who's a more technical savvy person. They tell you, if you're older, hire a young person, that the young people know how to use these things. But the reality is most of the entrepreneurs are older. And so, they're baby boomers, they're Gen X. And so the reality is a lot of times, like even myself, I did not grow up with a computer in my house. I didn't have a computer till I was like 18 years old. And so when people are building software, they're building solutions, they don't think about that. They don't consider that, right? They're just giving you all these, features and fancy things to do. So, for us, to get maximum impact, which, as if you've never heard or you don't know me, my goal has been to essentially help reshape the industrial base, bring more small businesses into the industrial base, grow it. And then at one point, we had a goal of helping 200 companies get to 5 million. We since moved that up to 2,000 companies to achieve 5 million in annual recurring revenue. And so you don't do that by making things more complicated, more sophisticated, more expensive. And so, what we've continued to do is try to leverage innovation, leverage technology, so that we can bring things to the lowest common denominator and help the most people. Interesting enough, I just came back from Navy Gold Coast in San Diego, and I literally built my entire conference agenda using Mindy. I'm going to show you guys how it does it. And so right now, we're tracking 178,000 plus federal opportunities scanned every single night. Today, we're going to go over essentially three things. This is a three-part presentation. The first part, we're going to show you how to see the market, every federal opportunity in one place. Right, something that currently, has previously been put behind paywalls and not accessible to businesses because of logins, requirements, registrations, people wanting to collect your data and your name and information. And then also, we want to show you how to essentially ask Mindy anything. So using your existing LLMs, using existing tools that you're already using, we don't want you to have to learn, again, a third tool, a fourth tool, a fifth website. We want to tie it and integrate it into the existing things that you already are comfortable with. So a lot of us already have built up data. We've already been, using Gemini or some of the existing products. So why not leverage what you already have and then essentially give you a highly skilled technical person, expert, that has essentially all of the government data in the palm of their hands, and then it makes it available to you in the palm of your hands so that you can be smarter. And I'm going to show you how I did that this week with real life case study examples of what I did. And it's funny because I was able to actually, not only was I able to find something that was relevant an opportunity that was live, I was able to find and going to the conference, find a live opportunity, identify the decision makers who were in charge, reach out and contact them, and then have discussions about it while I was submitting this live opportunity, all at a conference that I attended. And previously, I did not have the ability to do that. And then again, on the last part of today, we're gonna actually set it up together. So we're gonna help you, walk you through exactly how to connect Mindy to whether it's Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini. We're gonna do it together. And so that you leave today with a working product that you can start putting to use immediately. Sounds good? So you're not leaving, you're leaving with this thing working, not with notes. Interesting enough, SAM.gov is not the whole market. A lot of people ask me this question all the time. And they go, are you just tracking SAM.gov? Actually, SAM.gov is just a search box. And it's only a part of the picture, right? When we look at the map of how the federal government spends, right? 70% of what the government is spending, right? We look at recompete contracts. They like IDIQs. They issue task orders. And then you've got DLA bids of small purchases. And then you got sole source awards. So when you look at SAM.gov, again, you're only getting a small slither of the marketplace. The other thing that I've learned about SAM.gov, which I found interesting, is there is no requirement to put the information in SAM.gov correctly. So if you're wondering why you miss things in SAM.gov, it's not necessarily your fault. They oftentimes are miscategorizing items in SAM.gov. They are putting it under the wrong classification codes. They're putting it, they don't have locations attached to it. So there's a lot of errors in the data that SAM.gov has that I personally did not know until I started, looking at all this data. So we see why now small businesses have literally been at a disadvantage to largest because they knew all of this and we did not. And so we just trusted that we go in SAM, we put in our NAICS code, and it gives us all the right results. No one ever questioned the search queries or the data or, things that we're querying, which is interesting because a lot of people question me about, what we do, but you never actually question the real gatekeepers of the information. So I find it fascinating that people question me, well, Eric, is your stuff working? I said, you never question if SAM.gov stuff is working, which I find even more fascinating because they're the ones that you are giving your blind trust to, who are only showing you a slither of everything, whereas we actually are now collecting all of the data across all the sites and sources, and we're looking at it and mapping it across each other and finding some anomalies, some things that don't line up, some things that don't match up, some things that you could maybe even interpret why some people are discovering more opportunities than others because if it's not being properly categorized or put in there or attached to anything that can be searched, then only the people who had that information would know it existed. So I know it sounds a little bit conspiracy theory-ish, but after looking at all this, I can tell you there's lots of things that are maybe posted or shared, but not tagged or categorized, and so you can't uncover them. So what we did was we stopped searching and we decided to essentially map it all out, right? And so search box shows demands that you already know what you want, which, makes sense most mornings, but no one actually knows what they want. Most of us are basically curious and we're trying to find out, right, where's the next opportunity for me, my company, my team, whomever that looks like, right? And so what we decided to do was map out the entire marketplace. And so you could see work that you never would have thought to even search for because you couldn't see it before, right? And so if you want a way to describe it, think of Zillow for federal contracts. You browse and the market effectively comes to you. If it's public, we cover it. So again, SAM.gov is one channel. Most federal buyer happens somewhere else. And so Mindy's reading that every single night. So open solicitations, work that's too small to post, work that's already being held, and then money that's outside of contracts. The only thing that we do not have right now is classified work because, again, classified work requires a special type of classification to be able to see it. And if I were to pull that up and show it to you, I'd probably go to jail. So I'm not going to do that. But anything that's not classified, we uncover it, right? So you're not seeing a slice of the market, you're seeing the entire market. And to be frank with you, most of us don't work in classified environments, so that really doesn't apply to us. So let's start off first by uncovering the map. And what I like to do is essentially, once we're logged into Mindy, just kind of give you an example of what we have on here. Under opportunities, you'll see 3 horizons. So you'll see open solicitations, recompetes, and forecasts. And essentially, you can, I'll just back out. Looking here, I'm looking at Chicago. You can zoom into any of these areas, right, and start to see opportunities. So for example, this is a recompete contract with the Veterans Affairs. As we pull this up, we can see who holds the contract. We can see agency priorities, their pain points. We can see if there's any open bids like this. We can see similar awarded contracts like this. We could track this. This was a open, unrestricted contract that they were awarded to this company. This happened to be a manufacturing contract, but we can do this for example, this is an open opportunity right now, listed. I'm sorry, I deleted it. I don't know why. I'll pull up something else. So here, this is a power system, right? So this response date is due on the 31st. It's currently open with Department of Energy, right? It's unrestricted. It gives you all the information on its solicitation notices. This is how we determine the value that we came up with. So when we look at how we actually have started assigning estimates to all of these numbers based on historical data. So not only are we uncovering active solicitations or recompetes, we're looking at past data to show how we arrived at what we think it would be in the range of the value of this type of award. Look at incumbents who hold it. So $2 million Lockheed Martin Corporation holds as an incumbent. Again, who are the decision makers that are on that contract? And then related opportunities. So what we've done is now anyone can, and again, anyone, Brandon, you might want to put this link in the chat for people. Anyone could go on for free right now and look at everything that's available. All right.
Minimize your Zoom window on your shared screen.
Minimize my Zoom window.
So you're sharing your screen, but on the actual stream itself, I can see the Zoom window itself with Shador and Kedra.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. This one.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Okay.
I'll send the link in the chat.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. So essentially, right, for example, right here in this area, there's 2,500 opportunities just in the area that we're looking at now. As we get closer and zoom in, you'll start to see, I'll show you, all the prices come up for everything that's in that range. So as we zoom in closer, you'll start to see the dollar amounts. You can sort it and search it based on value ranges, right? Things you're comfortable with. When we look at the color coding, so based on the colors, so the purple stands for forecast, this kind of amber color are recompete contracts, and then the green are open opportunities. A couple things that we could do here. We could take away any of these and only show open opportunities, right? And then from there, we'll back out, right? So here you can see what's in around Michigan, Michigan, just that's actively open on SAM.gov. You can see who are the buyers, Veterans Affairs. This is an SDV, like for example, this chemical water treatment. This is at the Erie VA Medical Center. And so you can see, essentially, you can share it with people. You can start tracking it. And then from, again, depending upon your level of access, you can start working through tracking it, following it, generating proposals. The other thing is, right, show you. So this is my watch list. So these are my saved searches. So I've created a couple saved searches here. And then in my saved searches, right, we've got, like, for example, this is my opportunities. Under this particular saved search that I created, anyone, by the way, anyone can do this. So like I created a DoD IT services saved search. I created a cybersecurity saved search. So this one has these NAICS codes and all agencies. This one has just the Defense Department and these agencies, right? And so it'll show me when I go back in to the Mindy app, it'll show us how many new opportunities were uncovered. So how many right now repeated buyers, how many are small business friendly, how many early stage opportunities exist, how many are closing soon, right? And then it'll uncover how many new ones existed. The other thing is we can save each one of these opportunities. So we can save it. We can start working on it. We'll see what's active, what's not active. And then the actual pursuits is me tracking them to want to actually do something with it, whether we want to actually respond, right? Sources sought, RFI, things like that. So the other thing on the map side I want to show you is we have, again, so under filters, I'll show you, you can, like, for example, start typing some of your 3-digit codes and it'll pull up filters, and you can filter by the codes, by PSC codes, by DSA supply codes, by agency who's buying, right? Navy, Department of Defense. You start typing and it'll start showing you on the screen. Like you see DOD has 3,900 opportunities, Navy 1,400, DLA 14, Army, right? So you can start searching by that, by buying office. So what we've done, location, country, when it was posted, any set-asides, which I do not ever recommend searching by set-asides. If the buyer is small business friendly, somewhat. Are they heavily on using vehicles, right? Is it the notices type? So all these different things you can filter by categories, right? Education, you can filter by industry, and then again, agency. So what we've done is, and it's what's fascinating about this for me is when we had it listed in the dashboard view, I could see a number of opportunities, but I couldn't see the size of the total marketplace. And so that's why a lot of people say, well, Eric, is this only looking at SAM? Because they could only see, right, just data. Now, when we zoom out to the map, you can actually see, right, based on like clusters, just the sheer volume of opportunities there are. And so if you wanted to do a save search for, let's say construction, right? So if you want to do, let's say construction, and you want to pick your state, right? Then you could set up that search. The other thing that we've done differently is these watch lists or saved searches. So what does that mean? That means now under the previous Mindy version, you only had one set of alerts based on what was curated for you. Under this new 1.0 Mindy, you can set up several different alerts that are customized. So if you want to set up an alert for forecasts, if you want to set up an alert for recompetes, if you want to set up an alert for opportunities, if you want to set up an alert for IT, if you want to set up an alert for RMF, if you want to set up an alert for construction. So you can set up multiple alerts, right? And so when you do that, each one of these, right, will send you an email on your frequency, right? Daily, weekly, or off for what it is that you like to search for. The other thing that on Mindy 1.0 that's different from the first Mindy app is when we actually do the save searches, we can also from there create market intelligence reports. Now, most people will never do this, and that's fine. But for those people who might be curious, right, when they search their marketplace, this shows you how many of the people that are in your market are repeat buyers, how many do full and open competition, how many have set asides, how many sources sought do they use. Here are some of the top buyers, here are the largest opportunities, here are the top forecasts. So you can pull this report for each one of your saved searches. So again, another thing that we've been able to add to give people more flexibility in choosing how they would like to use Mindy, right? So the biggest thing, differential, that I would say is giving people the ability to do more, choosing which you like, the way that you like to use it, setting up the searches the way you want to see them, being able to save them and build essentially your own research and market platform that's custom to you. And that's probably the biggest benefit right now that we've been able to do. And then also being able to see this stuff, right? Also being able to see it and again, allow your curiosity now to take over, because you could say, well, hey, so one of the strategies that we used to teach people was go online, find forecast opportunities or find something that sources sought, right? And talk to suppliers or vendors about these things that they don't know about. So here, I just pulled out only forecast, right? So here's a service repair and maintenance. Let's see, administrative IT labor. Okay, here we go. So my friend Patrick does educational training, curriculum development. This is exactly what my buddy Patrick does. So here's an opportunity that's forecasted that he probably doesn't know about. Here's the program office, Centers for Explosive Ordnance, turnkey solution to deliver combat skills course for this based on approved course master schedule, follow approved curriculum provided by the PWS. Here's the company that holds it, right? Here's the person who we need to contact about it, right? So again, I could approach him and said, hey, this opportunity is coming out for training curriculum development. Let's essentially build a team around it. And then from there, we can go back in and start researching the market if we wanted to. I'm not going to do that. But we can now start researching the Patricia, reaching out to her, finding out what information we have on it as well. So that's one way that we've been able to use in the past. The other thing is, let's put on open opportunities, right? And then we could put on sources sought. Okay. All right. Firefighting boots. So again, the people that probably make firefighting boots and are around this area, maybe they don't know about this opportunity, right? So we have the chance, right, to talk to people about this who are in this space, because again, when we're looking at sources sought notices, we can reach out to someone who makes firefighting boots, figure out, hey, and again, hey, there's something coming up the government has for firefighting boots. Is this something that you'd be interested in going after together? Great. So you, again, me just tinkling around, right? I can see that. Now, let me take off, reset my filters, right? But again, we give you that ability, right? So now, the thing about it is, what I encourage everybody to do today is I want you to, again, use the maps, search the maps, start setting up your own save searches, right? The idea for me is now you can take this information that you've saved, you can start sharing it with people that you'd like to go after with, opportunities, your team members, your teammates. And then from there, we can start doing more sophisticated things. But Ideally, for us, what we'd like to see is more people uncovering opportunities, because you can now visibly see what's close to you in terms of proximity, what's close to you in terms of what you do, or maybe you can start finding new partners and new relationships that you did not have before, because you're uncovering things that you did not know someone needed or wanted or cared about, right? So, that's the idea of the search function. This is actually pretty interesting because Leilani, we actually know her. So this is pretty interesting because we actually know Leilani. Maria made a video with her a long time ago. So that's funny that we get to pull her up on a contract. But again, getting the chance to discover more opportunities, getting a chance to essentially create a lane for yourself. One of the things that we have found under this administration, and in fact, I'm going to take my screen down. One of the things that we found in this particular administration is they're not prioritizing small businesses. And so what does that mean? It means it becomes incumbent upon all of you guys out here to effectively look at opportunities that the government has a need for to solve and identify partners. And I would lean towards the boomers, right? Find partners that do not have this capability, right? And the idea is to work with them, bring them to the table, right? And then you guys can essentially help share in on that. And I'm going to show you that example of something that I did this past week. That was exactly this. But the idea now becomes everyone has this information at their fingertips, okay? And so no one has an excuse of, well, Eric, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do, because now you can see if you want to start with something that's close to you, that's fine. If you want to start with something that is in proximity of you, that's fine. Why am I saying this? So one of the things that I'm doing right now is we are tracking all of USA spending moving on a snapshot basis every single day. So I'm tracking all the contracts that are being awarded on a trailing basis. And I've been doing that now for a few months. This data, actually, if you go to USA spending, it only gives you what happened that day, right? It doesn't give you like the trailing reports, because that's not what it's being tracked. So we're tracking it. And some of you might have heard us say this before. If you were to Google Department of Defense competition reports, Navy competition reports, you will see the percentages of contracts that go to one or no bidders. Well, I'm tracking it. So I have my own data sources that I can pull. So what's interesting about the numbers is a couple things. One, it says small business is healthy. So 38% of the 24,000 active solicitations carry a set aside. Okay, that's about 9,400. However, look at the second line. Many awards are drawing a single bidder. I'm going to take some coffee while you guys read that. Many awards are drawing a single bidder. Did everyone read that? 78% of recent awards receive one or few offerers. 78%. So even though small business participation is showing 38%, 78% of everything has one or few bidders. Now, I don't know how many people are watching because I have a full screen share here. But does that surprise anybody here? Is anybody surprised? Like, Are you one of the people that did not bid? Because if you are, shame on you. If you're sitting here listening right now on a Saturday morning with me and you didn't bid, shame on you, right? This now, you have no one to blame except yourself. Because the data is showing you under-competed markets are costing more. All right? So this is the way it's shaping up. A lot of opportunities are now going SDVOSB. Actually, just as many went women-owned as 8A, which is fascinating. And then one hub zone. These are the market areas are covering. Okay, 633 distinct winners, 11 first-time winners. So imagine that this Department of Defense had 11 first-time winners. So if you're wondering, can you win for the first time? There's your proof. Here's some of the winners. Now, these are obviously big companies, Crowley. But again, when we start looking at sample from Department of Defense, who's a spending awards, 1.9, 78% rate. Okay. Now we are tracking other groups like Veterans Affairs. We're tracking other groups. And the reason why I say Department of Defense is because they have the largest pool to pull from. Okay. When we look at Veteran Affairs, right, 47% of them have one or few bidders. Better, right? But average 3.4 across 48 sampled. So it's not as bad, but still averaging 3.4 bidders across 48 sampled. What's interesting about this is the top 3 winners captured 74% of all the dollars in that period. So that's interesting because again, even though Veterans Affairs has a bigger mix of small business contracts, they're on a smaller side. So yes, 45% went to small businesses, but out of that solicitation, in terms of the dollar amount, the dollars primarily capture at the top level, right? Again, I don't want to beat you up with data. I just want to make the case that if you're sitting back and you're deciding that you're not going to do anything, you're really at a disadvantage because again, when we're looking at all these marketplaces, again, agriculture, 55% receive one or few bidders. This is actually a symptom of what's happening across the board. Some are higher, some are lower, but the data, it's not equally being dispersed across the marketplace. Now, that could be a good thing for those people who are winning, but I think that the people that are sitting on this call today would like to be in that winner's circle. So I say that, right? Because again, I imagine that you guys want to be, part of that group. So again, I just want to kind of show you the map. I want to get you guys opportunity to play with the map, play with the features, right? I want to introduce you to that. So right now on the map, 180,000 pins. Oh, wait, I forgot the biggest thing on the map. I'm sorry. I got so excited. I forgot to show you the other filters. So you see opportunities. On the player side, these are companies. So 30,000 companies and then government buyers, 130,000 government buyers. So as we start to zoom in, we start seeing companies who actually won contracts. So CM5, $178 million of federal contracts award. We start looking at companies, some of their contracts, and then we call it players. So you get to see, and then government buyers, right? So all the contact people at these offices that we've been trying to reach out to. So like, for example, Jennifer here at Department of Justice, she's running these solicitations actively right now, right? She's doing about 56% of her stuff is delivery orders, 24% purchase orders, and then 20% are other. She likes to use vehicles, right? So this is important because a lot of times people say to me, Eric, should I get a GSA schedule? Well, once you start understanding how your customer buys, then that will determine that, right? So if Jennifer is a customer that we want to work with, right, is she buying using those schedules? Right? So, John here at Veterans Affairs out of Gainesville, another contracting officer, you can see what he's buying. Again, he's using 50% delivery orders. His typical award size is about $900,000. So we're pulling data on, here's some more similar buyers for Department of Veterans Affairs. So the other thing on the maps, again, you have your opportunities and then you have your players, right? And so one way that you can use this is, again, finding companies that you could partner with or finding companies that you may not want to partner with. I'll show you that in the next screen over. So again, you've got opportunities, you've got players. Pursuits is essentially your market research and effectively starting to actually respond, right, to it. So starting to do your drafts inside your proposal workspace. I'm not going to go over that today, but feel free to play with it once you have a logged in account. So again, opportunities, players, pursuits. So I can't believe I forgot that. All right, so now let's go back to our slides here. So that's what's on the map right now. Essentially, the biggest thing that I would say, it becomes your market, not everyone's. So you can now start to save your work, your buyers, your lanes, your areas that you can actually perform the work at. We kind of went over this right now. Most defense work gets one bidder. I know that the question people ask, and again, I'll be happy to pull this up, but the government itself puts out a competition report. I don't know under this administration if they still maintain it, but under the previous administrations, I've been able to pull it up, and the numbers have been holding steady for many, 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 many years. And as the industrial base continues to shrink, meaning that as the number of small businesses stop bidding and stop participating, these numbers become even more smaller and less competition and less people actually going after this work. So what does that say to me? The opportunity is bigger than ever for those of us who can figure this thing out. And that's my goal today. So again, right now, every night, we're looking at federal opportunities. For example, there was 2,000 posted yesterday. We are keeping only the ones that fit your business and then sending you a briefing for free every single day based on your new safe searches, right? So the other thing that we introduced now in 1.0 is bringing Mindy to you, right? And so that is something that I'm very proud of because it's not easy to do these things. And I've kind of always, it's funny, I've always been at the forefront of technology. And with that comes a lot of ridicule, criticism. But I know that what I'm doing is for the betterment of mankind, the small business community. So, when you're being innovative, right? Like, again, when you're trying to build electric cars and nobody builds electric cars, well, people kind of say, they talk trash. I remember when back in the days, I was doing wireless connections. And so I was doing wireless hotspots, and people go, oh my gosh, they're going to drive by and steal your data and break into your data on these wireless hotspots. And fast forward, we all use wireless inside of our houses. I'm using wireless to be on the Zoom call. Most of you guys are not plugged in to a wall, and you take it for granted now, the wireless connections, and you're not asking, well, can someone steal my wireless data in my house from my Wi-Fi? We just it's a service. So it's interesting because, I know that people are going to have their concerns. And again, we're trying to address all the concerns. But, keep in mind, the intention for me is that they have so much information and it is so hard to use and to get to that ultimately we as small businesses are at a freaking disadvantage to the big companies that have all this information. And the only way that I know how to make it easy for you and to give it to your hands is to use the existing platforms that we're already using to seek information, right? So, again, my goal is always the same, is giving you the stuff easier, access, because it doesn't make any sense that there's one or less bidders on 70% of the contracts. So let's talk about it now. You don't have to open anything, right? Ask in plain English, who holds a contract? What should I charge? You get to use existing platforms that you're already using. Again, I'm not asking anybody to do something that they're not already doing. Most of us are, I think ChatGPT has 300 million users. I didn't put those people on there. Claude has hundreds of millions of users. They're a $55 billion company, or $2 trillion, whatever they're at now, 500 billion. I didn't put those people on there. Most people have already started training models on what they're doing. I didn't do any of that stuff, right? The only thing that I did do is I'm now going to be able to essentially take what you have and put a power booster on it that's grounded in factual, real information, backed up by the US government and its official data sources, and then build out custom tools and searches so that it essentially thinks for you, right? And I'll explain to what that means. So right now, we allow you to connect to Mindy using your existing LLMs, which is whatever model you're using, Gemini, Chat, Cursor. It doesn't matter what you're using, Kimmy, if you have your own private models, right? And we've essentially designed some search parameters that are based on what we know people to want to use and to do this information for. So how to find work, right? How to size it up, how to price it, how to find the people, how to write it, and then how to check yourself. I mean, you could pretty much boil everything down to one of those 6 buckets, right? And so essentially you ask the words, Mindy picks the tools, and then does everything else for you. Think about your chat, your LLM, as the power lines. That's essentially, Mindy is basically connecting to those power lines and getting you the information specifically for what you are querying back from the source data. And it's doing it in an instant. So the good thing is, I'll show you how we did this. This week at Navy Gold Coast, I was there for 4 days, and a friend of mine runs a boat building company called Monarch Marines. He's a Florida boat builder that has never done federal work before. And so I'm in San Diego, and I'm saying to myself, I'm at the Navy's largest conference. My friend builds boats. Let me see what exists out there, right? And essentially, I'm going to show you, what we did. But just to kind of give you a summary, I looked at the boat market, which, you say is $22 billion, but I looked at their specific lane of what they do, brought that down to $200 million. They thought they were entering an ocean, and really it was a pond. When we looked at 572 companies that were registered, there was only 48 companies that were actually performing work. So, you and I would not know this. Generally, we would say, oh my gosh, everybody's doing this stuff, right? And the truth was, yeah, they're all registered, but only 48 people are actually doing anything. And then we could break it down and see, well, these other people got one-off contracts. So really, it might boil down to 10 companies are doing something. So when people say to me, Eric, how do I find places where nobody's bidding? Well, this is what we're about to show you. And so then we looked at an RFI that was live and open, and then we start going after it. So let me pull that down for you guys and show you essentially what I did this week. Brandon, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Shanor. I'm going to scroll all the way to the top. All the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. Okay, so I put in here, we want to help Denton Douglas, Monarch Arts, with shipbuilding contracts. Let's use Mindy to assess the state of the shipbuilding market. So then it started pulling up the shipbuilding market, started pulling up the codes, and it said these 3 opportunities are live right now, right? So I said, okay, we were looking at some of our competitors, okay? It pulls that information, starts showing it to you. Pull up this particular opportunity. Okay, it says the dates were split, no problem. Goes into who should we be talking to, NAVC, I can't confirm, right? Run a pursuit dossier. So it said, okay, here's a NAVC Office of Small Business Program person, Pam Bannister, okay, cool. All right, that's the front door. 1 email introducing us as a Florida builder. Okay, it confirmed that this notice response date was August 31st. That one responded. Then it starts saying, okay, here's a competitive landscape, 572 registered firms, 443 capable, 48 active performers. It gave me the list of all the names. All right. And then it says, here's some near-term recompetes that we should go after. Plus, here's interior fish and wildlife forecast right now. Okay. So then it starts pulling up the Navy PMS 300 group, who they buy for. By the way, prior to this, I did not know what PMS meant. I didn't even know what it was. It says there's an RFI earlier that I flagged that's by this group that closes on August the 19th in 2 days. All right, cool. So we went over that and it says, all right, I started talking to him and it says, okay, he can do this and he has a design. Cool. So we start building this out, right? And we kind of go through it. So I start putting in his data of what he had. And it says, okay, what I need to draft for. And then I said, I'm at the Navy Ghost Conference. By the way, you can see my chat, it says 5 days ago. I said, this week, make me a list of who I need to talk to and meet here. Great. So it starts making a list of all the people I need to talk to and meet. And I was like, I don't care about this Ferretti company, forget them. Here's my Gold Coast priority list of who I need to talk to. All right. This RFI closes noon. All right. Yep. Let's write it out. So it makes me the list. When is RFI due? Writes it out. I'm looking at the schedule. I don't see Miller. Boom, boom, boom. Right. And so let me show you what it did for me. I'm just kind of walking you through how I use a real life case study. Who I need to talk to and about what, right? So it's like, here's your talk track, person by person, matchmaking desk, hall B until 1400. And then it made me this action plan. And it said, here's your Navy Gold Coast action plan, right? San Diego, critical deadline, your RFI closes on the 19th. Now, prior to me going to the Navy conference, I did not know there was an RFI. And I didn't have I didn't have any of these people to talk to because I didn't have anything to sell. This is the day before the conference started. I want you guys to have context. It said the pitch, Monarch Marines work small Florida ABS classified steel patrol boats, builds now national government customers 2 platforms. All right, here's my schedule for the conference. I did not use the conference app anymore. I use my PDF document. It says, all right, Monday, August 1st. Well, I was building this out on Monday, so I had already missed Monday. But on Tuesday, it says, go to this ballroom, meet with this guy, Mark Diltetti, Chief Warfighter Engagement Officer, Don Capabilities Office. This is what he does. Ask him if a U.S. builder is delivered a ship that meets most of the requirements, what's the fastest path to get under contract? Does RCO touch platforms or only systems? So he was on stage at the main area. And when he came off, I got in line, waited for him, and asked this question. Now, most people, because there's several other people at the conference with me, when the people came down, they said, oh my gosh, it's so great. I love your talk. I sell this, I sell that, I sell blah, 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 blah. So the man says, well, go to our website and figure out what mission buys it and how they buy it. Go visit our platform, sign up on the page, da. When I ask them these questions, they don't brush me off. I didn't get that response. I got, oh, so he said, because again, what it uncovers is how much information they know or don't know, because a lot of times when you ask these specific questions, they don't have the answers because they're reading off of scripts. So he went on to explain to me that the Rapid Capabilities Office, by the way, is the office that means, can you build something for the Navy in under 3 years? He went on to explain that every one of the areas of responsibility had a Rapid Capabilities Office inside of there that I could speak to that person in charge who would have that information. Cool, no problem. Mark knows my name. Mark and I are talking. We're chatting up. By the way, I never even said what I did. I want you guys to know this. I didn't say, hi, my name is Eric Coffey, GovCon Giants. I did not say any of that. I said right there, hey, Mark, by the way, does that not, I don't say, I didn't have a card. By the way, I had 0 business cards, 0 capability statements. I didn't go up there and introduce myself, do anything on there to say about who I am or nothing. So then after I asked those questions, he's curious, who is this guy who's asking about Rapid Capabilities Office touching platforms versus systems? I said, oh, by the way, yeah, my name is Eric Coffey, GovCon Giants. He asked me, I waited for him to ask. And I said, yo, Eric Coffey, GovCon Giants, I produce a YouTube channel, podcast. This is for one of the clients that I'm helping to break into the Navy. I ran into him later on that day. And the next day, he said, hey, Eric, he grabbed me. He said, let me take a picture of your badge, write down your information. I'd like to get your information up to one of the people to maybe come on your podcast to talk about how small business can work with the Navy. But I didn't pique his interest by introducing myself and boring him. I piqued his interest because I knew what the hell I was talking about. All right, later on that day, Jason Schrofer from NAVC. You're the only NAVC guy on this agenda. Who runs market research for PMS 300s, boats, and craft lines? We have a client respond to the SMV RFI tomorrow. I get with Jason. He says, again, he actually, I told him what group it fell under. Now, again, I did not say I'm Eric Coffey. I do this, I do that, which is what most of you get wrong. And this is why you don't get results. At the end of the day, he was able to give me a card for his acting director and his head of a technology lead because he wasn't able to get me the information. In fairness, he runs the Sliver program of NAVC, which is outside of his purview, but he was able to give me the cards for people who I should talk to. Same thing, I went and met with Dan Matthews. Same thing, I asked him, whole mechanical and electronics, where are your constrained supply chains right now? And what does source development look like for a builder who can fabricate? Nothing about who I am and what I sell. Specific questions that these guys should know because this is their swim lanes. Okay? This guy, Jason, straight on facilities clearance. This requirement we're chasing calls for 750 square foot skiff aboard for a shipyard with no existing clearance. What's the sequence of rough time and get facilities clearances? It built this whole thing out for me. So it built the agenda. All right. And then we were able to also build the RFI response that we submitted from this. We were able to get the RFI response submitted. I'm not going to zoom in. Okay. We were able to referee the RFI response. We were able to modify our capability statements. And literally, this is the thing that we responded on for the government. All right. And I was able to get them meetings with the point of contacts who run that division within the Navy via email to know who I was. And I did that, and you can see my chats 5 days ago, 4 days. And we were able to get all this information done in 4 days. So I had a super, super productive event. I was able to turn an RFI for a ship that is in excess of 9 figures. From somebody, a friend of a friend introduced me to, who now says, hey, let's talk about right? The economics, and because we need to do this more often. I did this with prompts. Yes, rebuild. We need to fix and remove this AI sounding. Yes, this is what I use. I'll give you another example of something I did for someone there at the conference. I met this guy, Tannic Global Solutions, Alaskan native firm. And this is really cool. Like, I know some of my smart people are going to do this. So I was talking to the guy, nice guy, and he was telling me he's an Alaskan native firm. So I said, okay. I said, all right, they're an Alaskan native company. Tell me what market they're in and how to help them. And then it basically pulled up the search, and you can see kind of like here what Mindy did. Mindy, this is Mindy. Got the profile, looked them up, Sam, searched the contractors, right? Award history, past contracts, agency budgets. It says, Tannic Global Solutions is a shell company with 0 federal awards. It's one of 12 LLCs under St. George Corporation, Alaskan Native Village Corporation, for the Unigon Village Corporation. Global Solutions registered in Alaska, but has never won a contract. It's a fresh 8 o'clock waiting to be pointed at something. Here are their sibling companies and what they do. Here's the 3 lines of work that they go after, how you can help them, point them here, this, and that. So again, I was able to do all of this, right, in 2 seconds. And so this is ultimately what we want to give all of you guys today, right, is the ability to be able to do the same thing. So that's a couple of examples of what I did this past week, right? 4 days, 60 session, who matters? Before, when you're looking at your map of terms of all of this, I'm at this conference. I don't know who I should be talking to. Afterwards, it was able to create me a ranked target list based on priority, names, times, rooms, the exact question to ask. And now, out of 4 days, I knew specifically, I'm like, I need to talk to this panel, my number 1 target, Military Sea Lift Command. So I was able to plan an aftermarket pitch to one command, their own slideshow, didn't buy the category at all. And then so I was able to submit an RFI. All right. And so again, this is the idea behind how we're able to leverage the tools and the technology essentially to get us the right information. So what's interesting about this is a lot of people that are using LLMs right now, you know that they hallucinate, they make up names, they invent things, they invent programs. The good thing about it is that, again, because we're backed by actual data, and none of our stuff is AI generated, we're only using AI to call the actual data. So that's an important distinction when you're talking to people out here. We are not using AI to find the data. We're just using AI as the vehicle to get the information over to you, right? So it's almost, I hate to say, we're actually not an AI company. We're a SaaS company. We're a commercial platform that essentially we're leveraging AI as a means to get you the information. The same way you use your telephone to get you phone calls, we're using AI to get you this information that's being pulled from someplace else. So I think that's an important distinction, because for me, right, I want people to know, I'm gonna keep checking my stuff. I want people to know that, because when you're going out, because what I found is that, like anything else, you go talk to people and go, well, this is AI. Well, actually, it's not AI. I don't know another way to get you this information faster, easier, aggregated, compiled, without leveraging an AI native platform to pull from, right? So again, all of this information is in our core data sets. So, we do have all this stuff in our data sets, and I'll pull up our data core, but to get it over to you in a manner that doesn't require you to log into a computer system or require you to actually go into another app or learn new windows, I found that AI is one of the best ways to do that. So we were literally able to, we had 28 requirements, pull from the notice, technical submission, admin. We were able to check our responses, and we were able to submit it in time with 2 days notices, and have someone from the Department of Navy said that they received our response. Okay. And so that's the whole point, not a smarter search, but a submitted bid, right? So, for me, like I said, my goal even today was not to get people to be able to do smarter searching, but my final goal is to get you to submit winning bids so that you can actually make money, right? So look, I'm not trying to save everybody. That's never been my intention. I only care about the people that care about actually growing and being successful and making a difference. And so those are the people I want to target. All right. And so again, same question. Doesn't matter if it's in Claude or Chat or anything like that. So real data, nothing made up. Every answer traces to a real federal record, whether it's SAM or USA Spending or GSA or GAO. In fact, let me do this. Let me pull up our data core for you so you guys can see it. So here's our data core, just so people can see it. But you can see where we're pulling from: Office of Management budget data, USA Spending, GAO reports, our own data that we've got from our podcast, Energy's websites, IG audits, National Defense Authorization Act, GSA Calc, Justice Department, right? So you can see essentially where we're pulling from. So when people say these things about, is this only SAM.gov? We are essentially curating lots and lots of data, making it available to you at your fingertips. So I definitely want to say that. I think that's really important to note for people out there because, again, this information prior to AI has been hidden and not accessible to us. And I think that's really what's the separation between why small businesses who have capabilities, who have capacity, who have technologies, why are they not breaking into this marketplace, right? Why is it so hard for them? And I think because the data is scattered across a bunch of different places. It was never meant to be organized. It was never meant to be easy to access. And so, that is my goal, is getting you all the data that you need, making it easy to access so that you can actually do something with it productive and uncover opportunities that may be sitting in plain sight. All right. The good thing is your business stays yours. Nobody else can see it. Again, we're not training an AI. What this does is it's pulling from our data. So again, you take it with you. You can export your data anytime. You can delete your data from any of within our app. So everything is tied to your accounts, to your database, not just by your code. So I'll show you that because I know people oftentimes have that question, right? This is, and again, we've already put some things in place to do that from our last call. I know people are very concerned about their data. And my security team, who's sitting on a call right now, they laugh at me, call my security team. And I said, look, I don't know why people be giving me a hard time about data. They don't have no problem with Google having their data. They ain't got no problem with the AT&T, the phone calls having their data. They got no problem putting their stuff in the cloud, putting in the app, putting on the Apple Store. I said, but I'm still going to address it. So we did address it. So again, we did address that issue. We put things in place. We bought some of the tools that my friends recommended that we buy to make sure that we had backstops to all of this. So I did listen to them. I did do it, right? So we do have that in place for those people who are concerned about the privacy of their data. I always, again, we are a commercial company. And so really, I don't recommend you putting any classified information in there. But the goal for me is also for you to discover where you may be weak. And so that doesn't require, right, putting in that type of information and researching the market and understanding essentially where you can improve, right? So I do want to say that. Oh, sorry. Went back to the wrong slide. Hold on. All right. All right. So now, what I'd like to do before we get to questions and answers is I'd actually like to go through and set people up because, I like to walk you through how to set this up for yourselves. The other thing is that when you set up a free Mindy account, we give you a free 100 credits. And so I want to set this up with everybody today so you can start playing with it. And then once we get people set up, then we'll open it up for questions. Is that okay? We're good with that? So let me explain a couple things to you real quick, how this works before we get into setting it up. So this is our MCP page. Don't worry about the words, but essentially these are, again, the 54 tools that you're going to have access to today, and you'll be able to connect for free. Essentially, let's show you something. So when we look at, this is the full reference guide if you want to look at actually everything that's in there. Here are actually the tools and an explanation of how they work. Shanor, if you want to send them to this MCP page, actually here, that'd be great. So getmindy.ai/MCP/tools. So if anybody wants to look at what they actually do, here are the specific calls that each tool does. So anybody can look that up. So things like find predecessor award, get solicitation incumbents, find capable contractors, getting keyword coverage, pricing intel, market vocabulary, assessing market depth, getting agency spend details, agency budget trends, right? SBA goaling shares, award details, looking up federal small business personnel, federal events, searching federal contacts, getting SBLO contacts, adding them to your CRM, evaluating bid decisions, extracting compliance matrix, extracting statement of work, getting solicitation documents, building proposal structures. So this is just an example of what the actual tools do, right? So if anybody wants to look at that, you can look at the tools and what they do. And then when we get here, how to connect. This is the guide that we're going to walk through now on how to connect using Mindy. Okay, so again, my goal today is to have everybody walk away here connected. If you're not currently using Chat or Claude or another LLM, then we could talk about that. That could be a question that you ask. But ultimately, we're going to add in this endpoint, this MCP, right? If you, for example, if you want to do an API, if you're logged into Mindy on MCP, you can actually create your own API keys in Mindy as well. So if you, whatever platform you're using, you would rather use an API. Once you sign up with a free account here, you can actually create your own APIs. All right. So Shanor, if you don't mind putting that document in the chat for everybody, Brandon, on both StreamYard and here, and then we're going to walk people through how to actually set this up. All right. Now,
I do think prior to that we should maybe answer a couple questions.
Okay. All right, no problem. Brandon wants to answer questions. Let's answer questions. I haven't seen how many questions we have, so I mean, are they loaded?
Yeah, they should be loaded.
Have y'all been asking questions?
Yeah, I've been asking questions.
All right.
I know Shondella has her hand raised, so we can start with Shondella and maybe we can go to the questions in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, you went away, Shondella. Did you not mean to do that? Have your hand raised, I'm guessing? Okay. Let me unmute you then.
All right, hold on. Let me
You have to go back. You just answer her.
all right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Hi, Eric. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry. I missed the very first minute or so. And when we were doing the maps, is that a separate?
They should have put the link. They should have put the link inside for the maps.
Okay, so don't go to, we're not looking for
Yeah.
this on Mindy.
It's maps is in Mindy, yes, but there's just link. There's a link to it.
Okay, keep the link, okay, because I was looking to see which.
It's in Mindy, yeah. But I mean, so what's going to happen, Shondella, is probably over the next week or so, the Get Mindy page will be the maps page. Today, it's a separate page because, again, I was traveling also last week. I was at the conference. I've been, so, but by the time the week is out, the Get Mindy page will become the map page. So it's just for now, for the next couple of days that you have to go through the opportunity map. Again, can you put that back in the chat, Shanora, the maps page? But yeah, right now you can just go to the maps page and use it.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem.
Now you can start reading from the question.
All right, someone says, can your estimate range for a contract be different than government estimate? The government doesn't actually have estimates for their contracts. So the recompetes are what the government put in there for their actually have the actual forecast list of the government's estimates. Our estimate is based on past contract awards. It's something that we use that is priority. It's our own private way of coming up with it, but the government itself doesn't have any estimates. So when that's an assumption, right? The only time that I've ever seen where the government actually has an estimate, right, is when it says 500,000 to $1 million, 1 million to 5 million, 5 million to 20 million, which is not an actual estimate. It just says a range in which they fall under. But the idea is not so that's what you bid, right? It's again, where the idea is what you search, right? So what we're trying to identify is, should you even be looking at this in the first place, right? It's not the whole point of actual estimating your project. That goes into when you use the tools, because now the tool itself, right? When you log in, you use Mindy, you're going to be pulling from GSA schedules, the pricing, the people, right? So that how you come up with the actual number at the end. That is what that's what you pay for, right? So you paid for it to actually help you build out your proposals and come up with the estimate numbers. But everyone should always be estimating their jobs independently from any source that says there's a price, right? Even if the government gives you, let's say you were to work with the government that gave you an estimate, I would never, ever tell anyone to use that number for their price. Because most of my projects, I'm not going to say all, but about 99.9%, the stuff that the government gave me is outdated. Because by the time they got this thing put out as a solicitation, the information they used to come up with it was 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And so if you're using that estimate and we just put tariffs on our allies, well, your numbers could be 50% higher just because of the tariff. So I would just caution anyone never to use that. That's not a feature to be used to actually price it. It's more of a feature to use to determine whether or not that's something that's even in the range of what you should be looking after. Because most small businesses say to me, well, Eric, I want simplified acquisition stuff. Well, if that thing is 5 million, then that ain't a simplified acquisition. That's what you guys say. I'm telling y'all what y'all say. Eric, where's all the simplified acquisition? Where's all the micro purchases? No one ever says, Eric, where's all the 5 million up contracts? None of you say that. You should be, but you don't. All right, Rod.
There we go.
Oh, my man, Rod. This is my Rod.
Sir, how you doing?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
So one thing you're accurate on is that every contract package has an independent government cost estimate.
Mm-hmm.
So they have that, and you're right that it's 6 months old on here. What I would look, and I don't know whether Mindy does this, is that is it using previous contract values? Because once a proposal comes in, they have to do a fair and reasonable determination. let's just say for shits and giggles, it's $100 and you come in at 95, makes life easy for them.
Yep.
If you come in at 105, now they've got to justify. So
Yep.
getting it early on under the RFI or the source of thought gives you a much better picture. So yes, you're going to be taking my money here shortly, sir. But anyway.
All right. Be happy to take your money, Rob.
But I did want to point out that the government does have it, and you're absolutely correct. It's eons old. They have to have it, so it determines what level they.
Now, Rob, let me say this, okay? They have it. That doesn't mean they share it.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay, I want you guys to listen. They have it. That don't mean they share it with you.
No. You can tell normally you can tell in the ballpark of their IGCE is that what type of contract are they coming out with? Is it the simplified acquisition?
Right.
Because that estimated size dictates which rules and regulations they're going to play by, even under the new FAR rewrite.
Now, so Rod, can you just for the people who don't know you, tell us your background? Because I mean, I don't think people know who you are and why you are qualified and capable to say what you just said.
So for the first 20 years of dealing with Uncle Sam, I was a contracts professional. I know I'm not supposed to say I was a former contracting officer, but it was. I sat within the Pentagon for the 80s into the early 2000s. Got caught with good old Katrina because I switched over to DHS, and then I became a consultant for the last 20 years with the acquisition of both the big A and the little a acquisitions within the government. Big A being the 5,000, being the big mama projects, little a being the contracts piece. So basically 40 years of experience on the government side. So now I'm falling behind. I'm in the Eric being the Pied Piper, I'm running behind him, screaming top of the hill about how to help the smalls to come through.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't hear you talk about earlier, and I am a bust your chops on, is that the rule of two is now being codified as a statute in Congress. So no longer can it be, I think about it, it's now, I got to do it.
So, well, you know, Rod, again, I have talked about that on previous calls. I don't want to weigh this down with a technical call today. I want this to be, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to weigh this call technical because I think I've done a lot of giving people information in the past, Rod, and I want to get people to actually execute. So
going back to your, I guess what I was trying to piggyback off of, as you're wondering, the earlier the smalls get in, the earlier they throw their hat in the ring. That's what
yes, yeah. So what Rod's talking about, everyone, and it was on my screen, but I don't think you guys. I didn't address it to his point. I'll just, since he brought it up now, I will show it. Okay. So hold on one second. So here, when I showed you guys the competition report here and like DOD, on my screen, we were talking about it, discussed literally here. I know it's light, but right here, it says these are markets to broaden the outreach for the rule of two set aside or industry day can pull in more bidders. So essentially, I didn't, it's on there because that's what we're tracking, because ideally, if we all got better at this, we could use the rule of two to make more things small business set aside. So we could create more opportunities for all of us. And so that's the reason why I'm tracking this competition health, but I just didn't put that out there for everybody to know.
Track answer, and that is the opportunity we need to get out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but Rob, thank you, man. You're my guy, you know.
So question for you had on here, and I will admit my good old phenomenal BGE, not my power out, so I missed the first 20 minutes. Did you talk about using Mindy to track the SSNs and the R5s?
Yes, I did not specifically say that, but yes, it was, it's there that it can be done. Yes. And it, when you look at the maps, it's broken down by, yes, that is broken down under the maps for them to track.
Early to bed, early to win.
Yeah. So we actually, again, when we go back to, So when we go into the actual, let's see, where's it at? So when we go back into the actual maps and we go into opportunities itself, all right, under filters, again, and again, this is something that we also did for everybody. So here, sources sought. We are also trying to make things more language friendly, Rod. So what does that mean? So when we say, so we're now looking at buyers who are typically small business friendly. So we're looking at, are these buyers, because a lot of time people waste their time with agencies that don't want to work with you. And you're like, oh yeah, they buy my stuff. I'm like, yeah, but they're not small business friendly. So you could just forget about them. They ain't not gonna give you a chance. Start off over here, right? And so when we are looking at small business friendly, we're looking at, do they actually post early, right? And then sources sought. So we definitely have that in there. And then when we go out to our watch list here, right? When basically in your saved search, we have 149 repeat buyers, 75 are small business friendly, 300 early stage sources sought, early cycle opportunities for you to be shaped. So I know how important that is, and so we definitely always aim to focus on that for everybody.
You just hit the two right words, being that we can shape it early on. We get it.
Yeah.
That's the big piece. That's the.
All right. So thanks, Rod. Hang in there. We're going to get you set up. Letitia, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Eric?
Hey, I'm doing the best I can, you know? Hey, try to make changes and help people and make things more easily accessible. So I hope I'm doing a good job.
Yeah. This is a very interesting tool you've built here. So 2 decades, just to kind of set the tone here. 2 decades in this industry. On my part, mostly supported other small businesses and bought a company a little over 12 years ago or so. That was a company of 1 engineer. We're about 50 employees today. So
Congratulations.
Thank you. Just really, Navy's our primary customer. Health and Human Services is a secondary, about 10 or 12% of our work. So,
Yeah.
that being said, I don't know if, forgive me, but I don't know if it was my question that kind of prompted the estimates sort of out of the conversation.
Oh, no. I have 3 questions about estimates.
Because mine was the confusing term that the Department of War has used, or shifted to, where they, instead of calling it the long range acquisition forecast, they call it the long range acquisition estimate. Really and truly what that is it's their lists of, the opportunities. I punched a link into my question.
Sure.
Under there, as a comment, sort of. But for the navies, for example, Navy, I don't know for anybody here on the call if they're aware, but the Navy has actually pushed up the long-range acquisition estimate work to away from the individual sort of commands or syscoms and stuff, and they pushed it up to Department of Navy Office of Small Business. So the Don OSBP is who's handling it right now.
Yep.
They've consolidated it, which is kind of cool. Yay, we don't have to check NAVC, NAVAIR, NAVWAR, et cetera now. So the link is there in the chat. If anybody sees it, they're welcome to check that out. They just updated it as of July. But my question was really prompted around, does Mindy use data points from sources like that? Because the LRAs show not only the lists of the upcoming recompetes and the timings, and the new one doesn't exactly show incumbent contract information yet, but we're feeding the data scientist actually information to say, hey, you need to add this and do this. But it does also show if it's new work, for example. So it helps us to be able to get ahead on the plans for the recompetes, what are we going after? So it gets to, is Mindy, and again, I didn't know if my question was the one.
No, don't worry. Listen, I have 30 something questions here now. So I don't even know which one's yours. They're not categorized by names. So, but were you there when I showed you the data core?
I did, and so that was interesting, but I didn't see things like this in that data core.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I didn't leave it on the screen for people to analyze the whole thing. But I mean, I don't know the count, but the answer is yes. And again, I mean, we have, and
again, another one, would be the, say, for the Homeland Security uses APFS, right?
No, we again, I actually, so it's funny you said that. I had a meeting with a small business person from Homeland Security. And by the way, just so you know, Letitia, she left. Where'd she go? But either way, we are,
Still here.
I don't know, but I can't see. You were on my screen. Now you're gone. But that's okay. You moved around somewhere. That's all right. No problem. But either way, all the long range acquisitions, we are pulling. I mean, that's how we have to, right? Like, so we don't have a choice. I mean, look, Letitia, again, our thing is not to give people less information or subpar information. So we literally have, like I said, 180,000. I think on the forecast side, we have 31,000, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know them off heart. But I think on the forecast side, we have 31,000 opportunities. But I will say this, you're looking at 1.0, right? Part of what we're doing in the background is also helping to work with the agencies so they could just give us the data.
That would be really nice.
Hey, so part of what we're doing, is the reason why I'm tracking the competition reports is because our whole thesis, our hypothesis is here. I'll show you. So this is what we're pitching to federal agency side is we want to help more qualified small businesses discover your opportunities. So even though I'm talking to you guys, I'm simultaneously talking to a federal agency saying, hey, this is the problem that both sides of the aisle say we're trying to solve for, that they have not been able to solve for. So I literally am speaking, like I said, 2 days ago, I literally had lunch with someone from Homeland Security, the VA, NAVFAC, NAVC. I'm meeting with Stratcom, right? And we're seeing what things that are, again, not classified, non-CUI, that we can help with discovery. Okay. And so, at the same time, Letitia, my son, Brandon, who's on the call, he was at the Apex conference, meeting with them at the state level to see how we could increase access to discoverability, because there's been several reports that the government has actually commissioned, like this particular report. Where is it at? There's one that the Department of Transportation commissioned that literally said that, where is it at? That they have here it is, that if discoverability existed, that would reduce their problems by 70%, because here it is right here. So this is what we're talking about. This is what my case to the government is. It's costing the government buyer more, because now fragmentation raises what the government's pay through direct mechanism. The harder your solicitations to find, the fewer bids you receive, the thinner the pools, right, cost you money. So this was a research report funded by the Department of Transportation that was done at Yale, Columbia, and Berkeley that says that deliberate outreach to widen the bidder pools associated with 70% lower costs, and 70% of states rarely do it. Public procurement typically draws 2 to 3 bids per solicitation. When they asked officials to name what drives costs up, then competition came back reportedly and unprompted. So every additional front door is a place where a qualified firm might not know where to knock. And so I'm taking this same report and competition health, and I'm knocking on the agency's doors and saying, how do we increase discoverability of your opportunities? Would you like to discuss putting it on our platform?
Brilliant.
Okay.
Appreciate what you're doing, man.
So I want to share that with you because I think that's super important to know. And also, ultimately, we are looking at the fact that, let me ask you this. Okay, you're I met with a lady at the conference who's considering Deltec, right? And it's a $60,000 license. And we're selling to you for credits that you can buy for hundreds of dollars. And I said, I could not reproduce this result using Deltec because I would have to log into their system and query, Letitia, the system. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you raise your hand. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. We can't hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, there, I'm on.
Yeah, I can hear now.
No, I raised my hand so you could unmute me, but go on. I want to hear what the rest of what you
Yeah, no, what I was saying was,
paying like Cost Point or Deltec. Sorry, you're talking about like Gov Win. Right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, I was able to find, I put her information in there, and I was able to find a market that she was not going after because it was mislabeled by the government. And so in 10 minutes of not knowing this person, I was able to say, hey, Mindy found this, Letitia, not me. Mindy said, you're on this IDIQ, I won't name it because it says, you're on this contract vehicle. The government is actively putting these opportunities publicly. Why don't you ask the contracting officer to put them under your vehicle? And that would give you a better shot of having them because you have the technical past performance. I don't know how to do that any other way, Letitia. So I want to say that.
Brilliant.
Get me? Like, it was like, hey.
Intriguing with what you were showing earlier.
Right.
So I don't want to obviously hog this.
No, of course. No.
Today's time is really valuable.
You're asking good questions.
I'm
Which,
intrigued by the two things, the finding market segments,
right.
the ability of Mindy, and obviously everybody, we're all going to be jazzed about the finding opportunities, right?
Yeah.
But also, I was really impressed with your conference, like.
You like my agenda?
Option like that.
Hold on.
Kind of blew me away.
Hey, Brandon, listen. Let me tell you what I did not say. Okay? I did not say, Letitia, the truth, which was they were stumped when I asked them the questions.
Oh, I bet.
They didn't have the answers.
Yeah.
When I asked those questions, one of the persons said to me, what portfolio is that? I had to tell them what it fell under.
Oh my God.
But it made me the expert.
Sure.
So no one else asked them any challenging questions.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great approach.
So I killed it. It was like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy is a freaking genius, right? And I was like, even I went to the booth for the group that was responsible, right? Because again, there's so many, for everyone listening, the government has so many layers and they're always shifting them. And so Mindy caught the new ones that had been shifted, Letitia. And so the group that fell under the authority did not know this particular sub-entity was under their purview. So when I said to the guy, I go, wait, aren't you guys responsible for this PMS 300? He said, to be honest with you, I've only been here 8 months, man. I don't really know all this stuff. He said, look, man, I just been 8 months, bro. I don't.
Well, let me help you out.
But you understand? But
Yeah.
no one else, everyone else is like, oh my gosh, what do you guys do? And oh, maritime? Oh, that must mean boats and, da, da, da. I didn't say any of that stuff.
Yeah. That's, again, very, very cool stuff you've
Yeah.
got here. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah. Well, that's what we want to get everybody set up today so you can check it out for free. So, all right, what else? Who else? Hold on a second. Oh, wait, my man. Okay. So let me go.
We got Rod, and then I think we should just stop for a second and go back to the
But
presentation.
we haven't asked any questions under this list, man. I see. Oh, that's fine. Rod, what you got, brother?
You're absolutely right, because PA, Public Affairs, prep those guys, they do not come through. Those questions you asked, you need to get to the contracting shops.
Right.
Or the requiring activity. So when they go put the big wigs up there, they're prepped with a certain presentation, which I've done before. They come in here and they got something to say, they've got a topic to go to, but they don't know how the meal is made. They just know where the top is. So
That's it.
that's it. That's the other piece that I'm right there with Letitia. I'm not gonna be all over that like a duck on a June bug.
But guess what? You know what that did for me, Rod and Letitia? It got him to pull out his card, write down, here's my district director, and here's my technology lead. Call them, and you can even say, I didn't have the information to give it to you. No one else got that from him.
Roger that.
So what I always try to do with everyone here, and if you're new to me and what I do, I don't teach set-asides. I teach procurement, federal procurement. Learn the process. If you know the process, you win. You win. You win. Right? And so, that's essentially what I want from everybody. It's like, know the process. Guys, if you know the process, no one can stop you. No one, there's nothing that anyone can take from you because, they're just, I'm sure it made him feel comfortable because I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's going to be easy to work with. They don't have to train me up. I'm sure they have more confidence already in me just because I understood how they buy and what the mission is and what groups fall under who. So we don't have to teach them any of this stuff. So, all right. So Shanor, can you go ahead? Let's put the link back in there. Let's get you guys set up. This is probably the hardest part of today. Okay. But I promise you, I'm going to make it. We're going to first go through Claude. Now, if you use Claude, I personally think Claude is 10 times easier because what I'm going to show you, and Mindy actually is already approved in the Claude store. So if you're in Claude and you go to settings, right, and then you click on connectors, when you add and when you browse connectors, you can find Mindy. We actually are already approved inside of Claude. So you don't actually have to add anything manually because we got approved as a Claude connector about a month ago. So for all of you guys are in Claude, right, I'll walk you through it again. If you're in Claude, in fact, let me log in Claude on my window. So if you're in Claude, you see your name at the bottom, click the little arrow, and then there should be settings right below your name. Okay, you click settings, and then below in settings, you're gonna scroll down to where it says customize skills, and then you'll see a button that says connectors. You're gonna click connectors, and then in connectors, at the very top, there's a little drop down that says add. Okay, you're gonna click the little drop down add. You're gonna click browse connectors, and then you just type in Mindy. And then you'll see Mindy listed here. And it'll tell you federal contract intelligence for AI agents, incumbents. Mindy's AI business development analyst for federal contracts, asking plain language. Mindy works with a seasoned capture team. Does reading live SAM solicitation. It's grounded in real federal data. Never generic. 317,000 plus contractors, 88,000 opportunities, 125,000 verified contacts, 24,000 contracts scanned nightly. Every figure traces USA spending. SAM.gov, Edgar, GSA Calc, Grants.gov, NIH reporter. So number you cite in a proposal is one you can defend. All right. So I'm gonna stop here on this part. Okay. Was I just sharing? Did everybody see my screen? Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So is there anybody that's using Claude that's actually going through this exercise right now? Yeah, okay. Me? Okay. Okay, you are, you just did it. Kelly just did it. So wait, did anybody get connected? Oh, connected. Done. Too easy. Connected. Boom. How was that? That was pretty good. That's pretty good. Everybody's like connected. All right. So for all of you guys that are connected, too easy for sure. They're like, I mean, wait till you see what it does. Then you're going to be like, oh yeah, this thing's nuts. So you, by the way, you're never going to go back to the old way. I'm telling you right now, I don't even try. I don't even try to go back to the old way no more. I don't even mess with it. Hey, I don't know. It's kind of like before calculators and computers. Like, what did y'all do? You're like, nah. Somebody's going to show you something else. You're going to laugh. You're going to be like, oh yeah, Ivan, it will work with Gemini. I just want to do Claude first. Then I'm going to do ChatGPT. And I'll show you how to connect it to other LLMs afterwards. Okay. So perfect. Okay, you guys are all connected. When you go to, all right, so everybody who's connected, all right, so, all right, I want you to go to that link right there. Brandon, if you could put that in StreamYard for everybody. All right. So what this link is, and let me share my screen just so I can explain it for everybody. So this is, once you're connected, you're going to go to Get Mindy. You're going to go here. This is your account, and you'll see how many credits you have, and you'll see kind of like the stuff that you could do by credits. It shows your activity of what you do, right? Shows your billing. Shows you how to top up credits. Again, if you're on one of our paid, so everyone gets 100 free credits to start. All right. So everyone's getting 100 free credits to start. And then you can top off your credits, and refill them. Again, here's where you would set your API keys if you need to use API, right? Another thing that you could do, you can create a referral link. So you could copy this link and refer someone. And if they signed up, when they click in, you'll get an extra 100 free credits. All right. So everyone, if you're in your own MCP account that you're logged in, you should see on here your usage, your activity, right? And basically billing, API keys, CRM, how to send your referrals. All right. So I just want you guys to know, and that's how you see how many credits you have in your account. All right. So right now, like me, I've done 30. Again, I do a lot of demos for people, but like that day, you can see this week, right? Like August the 17th, where I started doing all this stuff. And then that was me responding to the RFI, and then that was me making calls. So how it works is, again, what happens is all of the database information is stored with Google, and they charge me for accessing all this data, right? So as you can imagine, I've got, I don't know, 1 million pieces of data. Google charges us to access it, and that's how the credits are. So whenever you're pulling from it, it charges you credit. You can see all the pricing per credit on here. But I mean, all that also is just handled inside. So, I mean, you know, none of that matters. But I just want to show you guys that, all right? So since we got everybody on Claude already connected, let's work for my ChatGPT people. Do we have ChatGPT people on the call? Do we have ChatGPT? Yes. Okay. All right, cool. Let's do ChatGPT next. All right. All right. So on ChatGPT, let's do it. So ChatGPT they actually closed off their app store. So it's a little bit harder, but not that much harder. These are the instructions. I'm going to put them back in the chat again. For you guys to watch. So if you just go down to ChatGPT. So the first thing in ChatGPT you have to do is you go to your settings, and then we're going to go to security and login. So ChatGPT, click my name, right? And then you're going to go to settings. Under settings, we're going to scroll down to where it says security and login. All right. And then once you're in security login, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see something called developer mode. All right. And then you're going to turn on developer mode. Okay. So once again, click on my name, go to settings, go down to security and login, scroll down, find developer mode, toggle the little switch to developer mode. Where is it at? Okay. So right here, turn developer mode on, right? All right, so that's step one we just did, okay? Now step two, we're gonna go back to plugins, and we're gonna add Mindy. So in chat, settings, right below general, you should see something called plugins now. And under plugins, right, is where we're gonna actually add in Mindy. So under plugins, and so I already have it in here. But right here where we see plugins, everybody should be in this screen. Browse plugins. So you should be on this window under ChatGPT. I'll put it in the chat for everybody to see. I'm going to do one at a time, Ronnie. Hey, listen, I'm going one at a time, everybody. All right. But you can use the same format for Copilot, Gemini, doesn't matter, right? I'll show you guys. So under chat, plugins, we're all here. All right, we're going to click the little plus symbol, and Ronnie and Gemini, anybody else, right? Under plugins, you should be able to add, right, a custom tool. So here we type in Mindy. I put government contracts. And then this connection, this is what you get right here. This is what you're going to paste. This. Okay. So we're all going to paste this. All right. Shanor, can you grab this and put it in the chat, please? The address they're going to paste. So you're going to put that in here, and it should look like this. All right. So name, Mindy, description. I just put government contracts, and then you paste this connection, right? And then you just click I understand, and then you hit create. And this is what you see. So mine already has it in there. That's why it says already exist. All right. And then it should take you to our login page for Mindy. It says sign up for a free account. And then basically you create a free account with your, whether it's Google or Microsoft or username and email. And once you create a free account, you can exit that window and then go back and it'll say connect to Mindy. This is what it looks like on the screen. So let's go down to ChatGPT. All right, developer mode, settings, go back at plugin. Then it'll say click sign in with Mindy. You'll see this little window that says sign in with Mindy. All right. And then it says connect your free account. You click connect or create account if you don't have a free Mindy account. Again, everybody gets 300 credits. And then once you've done that, once you've logged in through Mindy, you could close out the window and just go back to where you were signing in through chat. It'll say connect. Now, the thing about chat and all these, because sometimes it'll get annoying, say allow Mindy, allow Mindy, allow Mindy, is that you have to tell it just always allow permissions. So I changed my permissions to allow low risk actions or just allow on all actions, which is what I do. And then Mindy will be connected. Okay. Go back to the. So, again, just a question I just saw somebody post up here. Nikki said, no data will be deleted. So, remember this. I don't control chat or any of the LLMs. All they do is they talk to our data and they pull in information. That's all it does. They pull in my information that we have curated for you guys. All right. So if it says invalid, it's probably because you need to create the free account. So you may want to do is go ahead and create the free account first, Kimmy or Pavani. And then once you log into Mindy's free account, then go back and try to connect the chat. Yeah, chat was a little bit more complicated. So another way to do it, again, if you is saying it invalid. So Pavani, when it's trying to create a free account, it's give you an issue. Did you start off on the Mindy site? And again, out nowhere, I can stay to answer questions afterwards. I don't have a problem with that. You can connect to as many LLMs as you want. Doesn't matter. Darina, thank you. Well, what I'd like to see, again, from this session, all right, is not that you guys created it. I want to see us use it. That's the point here. I want to see us all using it. So, well, that's what I like to see. All right. What I'm going to do, let me go through and answer some questions for people about what they've seen so far. And it looks like the ChatGPT people are having a hard time, which is okay. We'll figure out how to make it easier for them. Unfortunately, I don't always know how. So let me go through and see what questions people had, and then we'll come back. Oh, somebody says they were able to connect with ChatGPT. All right, Alan Clipper, good job. Well, I tell you what, Yvette, why don't you do this? Is anybody who's trying to connect with ChatGPT want to share their screen and come up here, and then we can work through it. Anybody on ChatGPT would like to share their screen? Okay. Right. Did you request a sign up link? So my recommendation is to use, right. So Pavini, the problem that you're having, you have to set up use a password instead of a sign up link. It's trying to authenticate you. Well, Keith, I don't need you to come up here if you already connected. I need somebody who is not connected so I can test them. And I need a ChatGPT person. So if you're on ChatGPT, you cannot find the plugin. You have to manually add it. So unlike Claude, ChatGPT doesn't have the plugin. So again, anybody wants to come up here, I could put you up and you can share your screen and we can just look at it. All right, perfect. All right, so you're in chat, plugins. So click on, hold on, stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Hold on, don't move. Stay right there. Why does yours not allow you to add a plugin? So, okay, so I think the step that you're missing, Doreen, is you didn't turn on developer mode. Because you should see the option to add a plugin. No, you can't search it. You should be able to add one.
Yeah, so how do you add that? I'm sorry, that's what the part I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, so when you go back to your settings.
Settings, let me see, is that down here?
Yeah, it should be by your name. Yep,
Okay.
Click it, settings.
Okay.
All right, scroll down to security login. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Turn on developer mode. That's the step you missed. Right there.
I'm sorry, right there.
Yeah, that's the step you missed.
Yeah. Now we're in, we're in business. Okay.
Now hit the plus symbol, plus to your right. No, plus. All the way to the right, plus. See search, next to search plugins, plus. There you go. Now type in Mindy. Okay, description, government contracts, whatever you want, I don't care. And then you copy and paste what we put in the chat, the MCP code.
Okay, let's see, let's find out where was that.
It's in the chat somewhere.
Yeah.
So everybody watching, that was the step. She missed the developer mode with chat. You have to turn that on, otherwise it won't let you add it.
Where you guys at? Give me 1 second. Where is the link? Is this guy not here? This MCP one?
Yes, the MCP one, correct.
So I need to type it back in here somewhere. I'm sorry, but this ribbon is hiding everything.
Yeah, I know.
Folks don't need to plug into things. So this link right here.
Yep, put it right there, correct.
Oh, that's not wanting to paste. All right.
There you go. Okay, now scroll down, hit understand, want to continue. Now hit create.
So guys, I'm walking you through the entire steps.
Hey, that's why we need volunteers, because I can't see what's going on.
And I would have been sitting here going like, this is not working. Definitely.
Right. See? I know. That's why I'm like, all right, sign in with Mindy.
Okay.
All right. Do you have an account or no?
No, not yet.
All right, so create a free account. Use Google or Microsoft if you have. Yep, just click one of those. Choose your.
And it'll just take us through this.
Yeah.
So does this take us like through the business account or the ChatGPT account we currently have in?
this doesn't matter. This is for your Mindy account because you're using Mindy now. This is connecting through your Mindy account. So this is the account you want to set up your Mindy with.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because all we're going to do is we're going to authenticate a Mindy free account for you.
Okay.
And then from there, that will take you back and then you'll be connected.
Nice. Well, thank you so much.
Hey, there you go. See, so the issue she had was she was missing the turn on the developer side. All right. Anybody else? Who else is struggling on chat? Anybody else wants to come up who's having a problem with chat? And yes, the question is, you can have a free version, but remember, free versions of chat or free version of any of this stuff, you're going to have limited of what you can do, but it will work. Okay. Julian and Claude, it's a different process. So again, in Claude, if you just go down to your settings and then you scroll down to connectors, then you can just browse and then it'll find Mindy. That's what you do for Claude. And then again, for Gemini, anything else, if you just essentially figure out where they add MCP, then we go from there. Sylvia's already ready. Sylvia says, once we add it, what do we do now? That's a good question. We're going to go there next. That's why we still got time. We're going now. All right. Nikki, what's your issue? Julian's not popping up in the connectors. So Julian, the reason why it's not popping in connectors is because you're trying to do it through your cell phone. Yes, you can add chat as well. Julian, you see? I already know. I know the problems already. Like, so Claude does not allow you to browse new connectors through your cell phone. You can only do it through the Claude online version. Okay, Nikki said, I cannot find a plus symbol when I go to plugins. So Nikki, if you don't see the plus symbol in chat when you go to plugins, you skip the step of turning on developer mode. So the reason why you can't see it is because you skip the step on developer mode. So let me show you what you skipped. So you skipped this step right here. Step one, you have to turn on developer mode in ChatGPT. So you got to go in settings, security login, scroll down to developer mode, and then slide that on. That's how you're going to see the plus symbol to add the plugin. So this is the first step, is you got to turn on developer mode. I promise you guys, you better know, if I had 700 people sign for this call, you know I checked all this stuff. Yeah, you should know. Okay, developer mode is toggled on. Cool. So, well, share your screen, Nikki. This is easy. Share your screen. Share the screen. Man, that's not connected. Let's get Nikki up. All right. Nikki, you gonna share your screen? If the developer mode is toggled on, when you go back into plugins, you can see the little plus symbol next to search. All right. All right. Well,
I'm sorry.
who's that? Is that Nikki?
It's Nikki. I'm sorry. I think I'm sharing the right one.
All right. Here we go. All right. So you're in. Okay. Scroll down. Developer mode is turned on. Perfect. All right. Now go to plugins. Okay. All right, scroll down. Browse plugins. All right, plus symbol to the top right.
That's what I was missing.
There you go.
And then you said we put it here, the link.
No, you put it, the name is Mindy, the description is whatever you want, government contracts, and then you put the link on the connection. And then you paste the link there. Perfect. Scroll down, click the checkbox. Oh, I understand. All right, hit create. Uh-oh, that's not the right link. You didn't copy something right. You're missing the HTTPS part of the link. She's got it in the chat. But yeah, you're missing HTTPS // Nope, you're missing an S. You got colon? I can't see, your screen's really small.
The colon should be after the S, right?
Yes, before the 2 slashes.
For some reason, I wasn't able to copy paste in the chat. So
That's okay.
I was thinking, so I guess that's it.
There you go. Sign up with Mindy.
Okay, so I already have my account, so I can just
Click sign in. It should authenticate it already if you have an account. I already have, yep. You have to log in and then, all right, you're good. You can stop sharing. No problem. All right, so everybody's connected. I love it. Woo! So Nora, we did it. All right. All right, so now that you guys are connected, this is good. Sylvia goes, what do we do now? What do you mean? What do you do, Sylvia? This is the fun. I mean, this is where okay, Ivan says almost. All right. Well, again, we'll get through this and then we'll ask questions and then I'll stay around to get some people connected since we do have a couple hundred people watching right now. So now, again, one of the things that you can do, right? So I'll just we'll pull through. I'll share my screen. So like in Claude, so I typically start off with, in the beginning, when you create a new chat, like I'll usually say, ask Mindy to do something. Like I'll say, ask Mindy. So I'm trying to make something that's more practical for you guys. That's why I showed you this example here. Like this person. So like I met him at a conference and that's why I asked him. So now sticking with this person. So you could do this for yourself. You can do it for somebody else. You can do it for somebody that you're researching, a teaming partner. So sticking with this solution, this company is an Alaskan native. Find out what market they're in, how to help them, right? So typically I'll say, use Mindy to do it because then it'll know. But since it knows me, it knows I don't have to keep saying use Mindy because it'll know now. But let's say I'm here and I figured out, okay, how do I market, what market they're in? So Sylvia, you have a potential client that you want to work with, right? This large company. So if your ChatGPT or your Claude knows you, put in the client's information and say, how do my company, whatever your company is, Sylvia, HQ.gov, how do I work with this large businesses, right? Like, how do I work with that company? And how do we, and so it will then look at what they do, look at what you do, and then overlay places where there may be some synergies. So like, for example, let me use this company, Tang Global Solutions. So it gave me a spotlight. All right. It gave me like a message, but let's forget that because I was going to post on them. So let me just change this and I'm going to say, How can a small business work with them? A small construction firm in New Jersey. What value can we add? WOSB, right? And so what it'll do is it'll start, and again, Sylvia, it'll know you, your company, your information. So it'll start saying like how you can add value to this large company or this Alaskan Native company, or vice versa, somebody that you want to partner with. So like Wendell is looking at this HVAC bid, and he meets this company, and he says, okay, he tells him who he are, tells him what he does, and then it can start looking at what you can do to add value to them, and so that it could give you the angle to lead in with for your conversations. Or it can look at opportunities that are on a map that you could bring to the table to have a conversation. So you really, the whole idea is to start to get creative with how you can position yourself to find bigger partners. So again, as you see what's happening on the screen, it's using Mindy to look up all this information about, contacts, contracts, small business people, right? So identifying joint venture opportunities as a strategic angle. So it starts analyzing all these angles using their existing vehicles, and then it will surface up what are some strategic ways to approach them, right? So the first thing that I tell anybody with any LLM that you should all be doing is teaching it about who you are and what you do. Okay. And then from teaching who you are and what you do, then it'll know how to help you to essentially better position yourself to work with companies that you're looking to work with. You don't actually have to put a lot. The reason why I want to connect you guys with your own. So Mindy works with every LLM, right? So Shanor, put in there the MCP page. You can connect any LLM to Mindy. Every LLM connects to it, even if it's your own private LLM. So the first thing everybody should be doing. So like here, Sylvia, again, I'm just giving it a little bit of information about you. Well, I didn't tell it you. I just said, straight answer, don't build this around Tannic. Tannic Construction has 54,000 in lifetime awards. It's a dormant shell. Their environmental works in Arizona, Nevada, Washington, Hawaii. They have zero Northeast footprint. As a teaming target for a New Jersey construction firm, they're speculative, not probable. But the question underneath is a good one, and the data point somewhere better. What Tannic actually sells and where a partner fits, their real operating model isn't construction. It's wrapping someone else's technical capability in an ANNC sole source vehicle. Look at their pattern. Tannic, ECM, 8A JV. ECM Consultants, a 30-year small business out of Costa Mexico. California, 24.7 million. Tannic, Sundance, 8A at JV, 14 million. Tannic, Mass, 8A JV, Monmouth Environmental, SBA Minor Protege. Tannic, MMG, 8A JV, 5.9 million. 4 JVs, everyone is a small specialty firm that brought technical self-performance and got a $2,500 million no joint J&A sole source lane in return. That's the door, and it's a repeatable template. ECM, exactly the profile your firm is describing, just a California environmental rather than a New Jersey construction company. So what does Sylvia, a New Jersey woman-owned small business, bring? 4 things that Tannic generally does not have. Self-performance, geography, socioeconomic lane they're locked out of. Tannic is 8A, A, and C. They cannot claim WSB. On a WSB set-aside, they're not a competitor, they're a potential sub. That cuts both directions, and it's the cleanest climate. NJ, licensure, bonding, prevailing wages, exposure. Boring is exactly what Anchorage Company can't produce on demand. The bigger find is, in New Jersey, a gold mine, and Tannic isn't in it. This is what I'd actually chase. New Jersey has one of the densest federal remediation markets in the country, right? Contracting offices, U.S. Philadelphia and Kansas City, which runs this. Contracting essentially even for New Jersey sites. Nearly all of its large business prime work, 7th in alone, 120 contracts, $1 billion. Every one of those primes carries a FAR 52.219 contracting plan with WSB goals at the report again. And they're mobilized in New Jersey right now with task orders running through 2022. 3 doors just open, ranked by speed. Sub to New Jersey's primes, fastest money. The JV men approach a structure, durable but slow. Prime WSP set aside, nobody's got permission. Here's the person's district office contact. The thing that determines all this is what they actually self-perform: excavation, earthwork, demolition, structural, general contracting, and what else? Two seconds, Sylvia. You are already overthinking this. Listen, can you guys please stop asking me? It works with every LLM. Shanora, can you put in there, it works with every LLM, and write down every question they've asked, chat, ML, Gemini, and just keep putting that in the chat every 5 seconds.
Okay.
No, right? You have to write, it works with every LLM. My co-pilot, Claude, just go online, Google all the LLMs, and write, it works with all of them, and put MC, so people stop saying, does it work? Every LLM. Can somebody just keep putting that in there in chat? It works with every LLM, so people stop asking, does it work with their LLM? Your LLM is not specific, it's not special. LLMs are like the power lines, they're like power grids that connect the world. That's all they do. They're not special and unique. I'm giving you the actual power grid your LLM's tied to is pulling from. It works with every LLM. Jeez. Again, look, we literally have this conversation. I'm going to pull back up my screen. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. On the screen, Claude cursor, other agents. Plug Mindy into your AI agent. Copy the URL, add as remote custom MCP, connect, sign up Mindy, and allow. Any client, Windsurfer, Klein, your own. If you got your own LLM that you built, that you're using, I don't know what you're using. You're using Claude bot. I don't care what you're using. Use a Mac Studio. It works. All right. I mean, if you really want to get specific, I can send you my GitHub repo. Right. Jason says, how can we drill down to just the Puerto Rico market? Easy. Just tell it. Jason, tell me what you do. That's easy. What do you want to see the Puerto Rico market? Ask it. The whole point of this, guys, you're overcomplicating it, is to simplify the stuff. The whole point of this is to simplify this. This is not rocket science. You guys are trying to make this more complicated. Why don't you guys just type it in? So Parvis says, is the LLM results comparable? So again, your LLM is scraping website data. Most of the information for governments is not scrapable, which means you cannot get access to this data because you have to have login, you have to have access, you have to be able to the government has to be able to give you permissions to get the data. So your LLM result will not be able to give you that information. So, but that's a great question. So if you're curious, you can ask it, what information does Mindy give me that Claude cannot? How about we start off with a simple question like this? Okay, so let's just ask Claude directly, right? Because so for people who are not used to LLMs, they hallucinate almost 60% of the time, which means they make up names, they make up contracts, they make up dates, they make up information. So your normal LLM is going to make up all of this data and give you fake contracts, fake names, fake people, fake stuff that does not exist. So here's Claude's response. Short version, I'm the reasoning layer. Mindy is grounded in truth layer. Everything below is what disappears if you unplug Mindy. Live structured data versus pages. Web search hands me articles in HTML. It doesn't let me query USA Spending, SAM, grants, GSA Calc, SEC Edgar, Federal Register filters, and get back rank rows. Every contractor who won in Florida sorted by obligations with agent diversity counts is a database question. I can't answer it by reading web pages, and neither can any general chat assistant. Data that isn't publicly indexable at all. Nobody can replicate this by just prompting harder. You cannot prompt harder to this information that can't be replicated. You cannot get your small business liaison officer hand verified, right, by 3,500 primes. That does not exist as a searchable public asset. Small business directory. Okay, you can't get that with date stamps. Data anchoring, you can't get that. 33,000 agency forecasts and records from buying offices. You can't get that. Computation. So like, this is all the stuff that, again, a chat or LLM just scrapes the web, and whatever's on a website that's not hidden behind a login of some sort, that's the information they're going to give you. And then when it doesn't have it, it will invent it. So again, it works with every LLM. All right. This is the page that you go to for all the other LLMs. So if you just need to connect here, it will work with your LLM. All right. But again, if you're curious, just ask it. Ask it, what can it do for you? What does it do? And by the way, someone asked about pricing. So when you go on to the pricing page, right, when you connect with this, you can, first of all, you get a free 100 credits. If you want to just buy credits, right, you can literally, for $100, you can buy 500 credits if you need more credits. Or if you subscribe to any of our monthly plans, it includes credits with your plans. But here's a pricing page. I'm going to drop it in the chat for people to look at so they can go over it. But, for me, the thing is, you're only paying for the data that you use. So, Sylvan, once Mindy is connected to LLM, you use the LLM to do your search, and you tell the search to use Mindy to pull the data. So, all right, let me go to my questions here that people have listed so I can answer them in order. So it seems like, Jason, you came late to the presentation where we showed all the data. All right, so someone says on the questions, we answered this, from which platforms are you pulling opportunities in Mindy? I've already answered that in our Mindy data core. We showed that earlier today, all the different platforms we're pulling from. Essentially, we surface every public opportunity that the government has, plus all of the sources that ties any type of procurement related information. So if there's any source that is related to procurement, like Government Accountability Office, National Defense Authorization Act, Senate bills, any of those sources, IG reports, we are surfacing that data to look for opportunities for contractors and vendors to essentially make a case for why their business should be given a chance. Again, just to remind people, I'm not focused on as much as like the actual like set aside work. We're focused on the procurement angles that people can use to essentially establish themselves as a reputable brand. Does Mindy have the ability to see which bigs are looking for smalls, or even which companies are willing to pursue work as joint ventures? The answer is No, because bigs do not post that they're looking for smalls anywhere. Now, what Mindy does pull as it relates to that question is if a big is registered with an active subcontracting plan under the SBA, we do surface that information. So if you want to find out, for example, which large businesses have active subcontracting plans with the SBA, that's something that's searchable. But if they don't actively state publicly somewhere that they're looking for small businesses, we don't surface that information. Is there a limit to how many alerts you can set up on the Maps version? So there is a limit to how many alerts you can set up on the free version as a logged in user, but there is no limit as a paid Mindy subscriber. So for free people, yes, there is a limit to the amount of searches you can set up. As a paid Mindy subscriber, there is no limit. Can we look up awarded contracts and task orders? Yes. So when we look at the maps, it shows you all of the awarded contracts and task orders. I will go back to the map so I can show it to you guys. But we are pulling up all of the awarded contracts and task orders. By the way, somebody put in there that it works with all LLMs because somebody's going to ask that question again. So if you look here, so you will see Recompete, but you'll see on here. So see what this says? Task order. So it'll show you whether or not this is a purchase order. So it shows you task orders, purchase orders, task order. So it'll show you the different purchase orders and task orders. So yes, we do show that. To provide the ability to see which contracts can be fulfilled remotely as well. I don't know what that means. I'm not even sure. I'm not sure what that means. I don't even know what you would, but I would say this. If you were to use the LLM and connect it, you could probably ask that question. I don't know how it would derive the answer, but I think that would be a better question to ask the LLM. It says, why don't I see all the NAICS codes? For example, I can't filter with 33612. I don't know. I don't know that 33612 is a valid NAICS code, right? So I don't know that to be the case, but I can check out and see if that's the case. Maybe I don't know the answer to that. I haven't tried 33612, but I also don't know that's a valid NAICS code, because what I've learned in my experience of teaching government contracts, the government changes NAICS codes all the time. So I don't know if that's a new code or an old code, but if it's a valid NAICS code that's active, Mindy should be able to surface it. Number 11, I think I like this question. How can Mindy help us to feel more comfortable with submitting a bid? So that is an amazing question. Thank you for asking. One of the things that I like to do with Mindy is, for me, when I'm submitting a bid, hold on. So one of the things that I do with Mindy when I'm submitting a bid is I will do, here, I'll just show you. So one of the things that Mindy has is a feature called the referee. So let me see, on our RFI, did we run, I forgot how to spell referee. So Mindy has a referee, which will basically do a compliance matrix. And then it'll run an independent agent that referees against the proposal that you wrote to make sure that it matched up against what the requirements were. So that's one of the coolest features. So there you go. So it says, yes, once the draft had changed a lot, we ran a referee and we scored 71 out of 100, 7 met, 10 partial, 0 missing. It caught the 10 knot versus 12 knot mismatch, which was a real fix. But that was before his answers to the specs document that then created a 50-ton crane. So if you are running like your normal LLMs, we have built in to Mindy what's called an independent referee, that once you do an RFI or anything like that, you can run the referee and the referee will check it against the requirements that's separate from the same agent that wrote the proposal. So now you've got a third-party agent scoring your proposal against what you wrote. Okay, where's the data come from? Mindy. So again, right now, she says, does it include like long-range forecast estimates? Yes. So we have all the forecasts. We have all long-range forecast estimates. Again, there's over 180,000 pieces of data. Our data core, where'd it go? By the way, it's funny because people talk about rebuilding it. I would challenge anyone to try to rebuild it. It's a million lines of code, so I would challenge you to do it. So 204,000 pieces are ours, 700,000 curated pieces, 178,000 cached pieces, 300 agencies, 34 sources, 6 formats. So it's a million records pulled across 34 sources. And so you can see like some of the places that we pull from. Let's see. Does Mindy help forecast requirements for GSA schedules ahead of source of thought? So again, going back to our slides, we can only pull. So if it's something is on a GSA vehicle, right? And GSA only makes it available to contract holders, we can't surface that because you're not a contract holder. So we don't pull any CUI information. And if you're on an active GSA vehicle, those don't surface because those are not for non-GSA holders, right? So we only pull actual things that you can compete on. Yes, we do have an API. So we do have an API that you can use. Again, that is when you go to your MCP and you're logged in. You can basically pull from your API. So on your account here's your API you can pull from that you could use. So you could use it for whatever tools you want. Pull the API in your own active tools like your CRM and start using Mindy. How does this help for teaming with primes? I think I just showed an example of teaming with primes. We're island-based LLC. We want to help mainland primes rewarded for pursuing in our AO. So again, I just showed an example of it. Someone says we offer an affiliate program for subscribers. Right now, essentially, we don't have an affiliate program. But if you want to refer somebody with credits, we'll give you a free 100 credits for someone referring them to sign up for the link. Again, you get 100 credits, that person gets a free 100 credits. So that adds to what you have. I don't have a capability. Can you walk through how many can help us without a capability statement? Sure, I can help you, but I need to have more context on what it is that you do to do that. But certainly we can help you walk you through how to do a capability statement. The first time, how much we should put about our company. So the reason why I want you to use it with Copilot or Gemini or whatever you're already using, right? Whatever your LLM that you're using already knows your company. So the reason why you want to use, I want you to work with whatever LLM you're comfortable with, because they already know who you are. So you don't have to train it on who you are, because you're not training Mindy, you're training the LLM. Only thing that Mindy has is the data core that's curated and searchable, queryable based on the intent that you're trying to make. So again, going back to usage, here's some examples of how I used Mindy. Let's see if I can. So again, these are some examples of how we created Mindy and how we use it. Where is it at? So you can see, like, this explains how credits work. What do I need? What does it do different from any type of public data wrapper? Okay, if I'm a paid member, what I get? If it's a one-time top off, do I need enterprise or API option? Do I need a credit card? What happens when I'm running credits? So it explains all of that, explains how many credits you receive, all 54 tools, how it works. Again, you could put in here what you're trying to accomplish and see what you're trying to do. So again, I give everybody 300 credits to start with. If you want to just buy 500 credits for $100, that's your prerogative, and see how far it gets you. This is our pricing plan. But again, it tells you what you receive. Like for 500 credits, you can do 4 full opportunity workups, 5 proposal market reports, 12 drafts, 100 opportunity searches, right? For about $80. So again, not to get into the weeds of pricing, because that's not what this is about. I want to show you how to use it and set it up. My idea is to ultimately give you something that makes sense for people that are in your situation. So, that was the idea. Somebody says, I'm new to government contracting space. And I haven't submitted a proposal before. What training should I complete to understand the process before starting actively submit proposals? So, the thing is, submitting proposals. So what I would say in terms of training is, one, there's a lot of videos online, right? There's a lot of content. There's training should be the least of everybody's concern. There's lots of training content videos that we have everywhere, all over YouTube, on our podcast. And then also for anybody who's on any of the paid Mindy, if you're active Mindy subscription or license with us, we still offer weekly trainings, and we have all of our training courses for those active licensees. So we still do that. And then we got a lot of content on YouTube that you can learn from. So I would start, I'm always a fan of starting with free. Apex accelerators are still there to help you. So free YouTube to Apex, and then you could come on and browse, see what's available, find some real live things that make sense. And then if you want to join a community, you could do that, as your last resort after you've exhausted the other 3 things that we listed below. For starting up with 500 credits, okay, is that sufficient enough? Yeah, I think 500 credits is a good start, Other language ability for Mindy, Spanish in our case. So remember, your LLM speak multiple languages. So you can use your LLM and talk to it in Spanish, and it will go to pull Mindy in English, and it'll translate it for you. So let's say, There you go. So yes, you can use whatever language you want. Colin, if you want to use French, you can do French. Number 23, getting direct emails from a purchase request from a buyer. Can Mindy decipher a real request from a fake? Absolutely, because Mindy is, again, pulling from actual live data. So you could put that information in there and see if it's an actual bid, and Mindy will service it. Can Mindy identify resale opportunities for Southwest HW components? The answer is yes. But I think everybody is kind of missing the bigger picture here, which is the reason why I want to connect you guys today is so that I could give you access to uncover this stuff for yourself, right? So the whole point of us doing this is so that you can go in there directly and ask that question using your LLM and get your response. Does that make sense? So, yep, that's what I would do. So, I mean, the you guys just got a free 100 credits to ask whatever you want. So go ask it. Has anybody actually logged in and asked anything yet? So what I'm going to do, let me do this. I'm going to take a break for 2 minutes and I'll be right back. And then I will go back in and I'll walk through how to connect it. And then Brandon, if you guys want to open it up, Sandella, you always doing stuff now. I've been talking for 2 hours. I got to get, you should already have live things that you're working on that you should have been tested. All right. Shanora, you want to come up here, Brandon? So, but listen, again, Shanor, man, you guys put in the chat our email, phone number. So people have technical questions, they want to have meetings afterwards. We do lots of demos. We do lots of calls. So again, our team is always available to talk to you guys about this stuff. But give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right. So, my man Jason, nobody wants to see Jason. I want to see you drive a Lambo. Hey, I would love to see you drive a Lambo, you know? So, all right. You guys questions about how to set up. Which one you guys want? Claude again? All right, let's see. Yvette says reset password. All right. Hold on. Okay, Letitia needs help connecting. All right. Hold on. Letitia, I want you to give this to your whole team. I want you guys to go out and be monsters. Okay? That's my goal for you. All right? All right. So here's the setup page. So, Kimmy, I love your question, by the way. So Kimmy's question is, I've always felt overwhelmed when navigating GovCon EDU. And I love your teaching, but I want to learn without getting bogged down on unnecessary modules. So Kimmy, this is the reason why I created Mindy, so that I don't have to teach anymore. So I created Mindy for all of you guys. I realized a long time ago that people don't want to train and they don't want to learn. And that's okay. But what I can do is I could not, prior to Mindy, okay, I could not explain to people what the hell is a forecast list, what is a recompete, what's a task order, I couldn't explain this stuff. Now I can visually show you guys this. So everybody on this call today, you should now know, right, that there's open contracts, which is on SAM. There's recompete contracts expiring, which is all the vehicle work. And then there's forecast, which is stuff that's coming up. You should, now everyone knows that. Not only that, everyone has in the palm of their hand this information. You didn't have to log in. You didn't have to sign in anywhere. And you can start tracking these things and getting intelligence, right? So like, for example, this particular public building services, which sounds like GSA to me, right? Which is right here, GSA. So going back to what Colin said. So this contract value, $1.6 million, Hammer LGC, blah, blah, blah. This buyer, all their work is delivery orders. So all their work falls under delivery orders, task orders, existing vehicles. To win here, you typically need to be on a vehicle already. I could not teach you guys how to find that information before Mindy. Okay, now I can show you this, and Mindy would be like, look, these people don't buy any other way. So this big old thing says vehicle gated. That means you ain't on the vehicle, you don't get the awards. Before, I didn't have the way to say that. So now I can uncover this stuff. But let me go back and help the people who want to get set up real quick. All right, so this is the screen where you're setting up. Someone said Claude. If you're on Claude, it's much easier. So if you're in Claude, I'll show you. You're going to go down to your name. You're going to click settings. And then under settings, right, in Claude, you're going to go down to connectors. And then right here in the top, it's going to say add. Right? In the Claude, you can just browse connectors. And then you can type in Mindy. And you'll see Mindy right here. That's it. And then you just add Mindy as the connector. That's for Claude. All right. If you're in ChatGPT, there's one extra step. Okay. You got to go to settings. Before you can see it, you've got to go down to security and you've got to turn on developer mode here. Right. If you don't turn on developer mode in ChatGPT, when you go to plugins, right, you won't see this little plus symbol. So the first thing in ChatGPT is turning on, go to settings, go to security login, click developer mode, toggle it, and then from there, when you get the plugins, right, then you hit browse, it'll take you to this page, you'll see a little plus symbol, and then that's where you add in the custom tool Mindy, what it does, and you paste, copy and paste this link right here. All right. By the way, Mindy pulls up all the government events as well. So if you were to say, hey, I want to go to, I'm doing this in this area, what events are coming up? It has all that there. So, all right. So that's what I would say. So, again, Mindy has, go back. Okay, there you go. Jeremy, you answered your question? All right, perfect. So Jeremy's question was about credit, right? So again, when you go on here, so we have an MCP plan, right? Which shows you basically how many credits you get, what you pay, and then how many credits that comes with it. And then again, you could just do one-time top off for $100 for credits. So this is our MCP plans, okay? Now, if you're on the Mindy app and you're paying the subscription, you already receive MCP credits per month already. So if you're on an app plan, you're already receiving credits that you have that we've given you, okay, on that plan. So when you log in to your authenticated account and you're paying like the subscription, then you already will have credits. Okay. So I just want to say that. So, and again, everything here is publicly disclosed. So meaning that we tell you how much everything costs and what credits. Mindy also will warn you before you run out of credit. So everything is on there. It tells you every charge, how it works. That's what I was showing you guys before, for the pricing for all the credits. So that's all there. Oh, I'm sorry. Some other question somebody asked me was about contracting officers. So in our database right now, I don't remember the number, but if you're in the maps and you go to players, there's 155,000 contacts in our database, all verified, active. There's 130,000 companies. I'm sorry, 130,000 buyers. Well, let me zoom out. So let's see if I get a 160,000 contacts right now. So under here, 130,000 buyers, 38,000 companies. So if they're giving out stuff, we're tracking them. And then this is what they're running on opportunity-wise, test valves, safety valves, how this buyer, I mean, look, here's similar buyers. Here's other contacts at this office, how to reach them. This buyer engages industry. They've run 187 industry days, 9 forecasts. They've done 14 small business outreach events. I mean, I don't know how much, so Bethany, you can't tell Bethany she's not doing her part. Bethany, she be at it. Like, her team's at it. All right. So, and again, if you want to look in your area to see who's around your area that you could talk to, I mean, you can do it based on your area. Government buyers and companies. By the way, it's only going to get better. So again, this is 1.0. What do you think happens with 2.0, 3.0? I mean, I show you guys what I've done, not what I'm working on. So the stuff that we've got coming out after this, it's insane. Brandon, the recording stopped. Shanora, the recording stopped. Did you stop it? Purpose?
Nope, let me check.
Assuming everyone is set with Mindy in their specific LLM, can you run a quick through of a construction code search in Mindy? How you're talking to Claude, submit a quick proposal source aside. Yeah, sure, agent. But give me some context. Letitia makes sense. Letitia, did you get set up? Letitia, did you get set up?
Thank you. Easier to explain than to type. So we use Copilot within our business 365 environment.
Oh, got you.
We do have full licensing of Copilot, so we're not just using the free Copilot.
Yep.
It comes with 365. That being said, I think I need my IT team because our IT service provider has this on pretty hard lockdown thanks to CMMC and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Let's see. I'm gonna see.
It's not in the store, you know what I mean?
Well, but it doesn't matter because remember with Claude, you had to.
But I can't even find anything to turn on like the programming.
Okay.
They've got the restrictions pretty hard. So I went into the settings in my Copilot. I can't find it.
That's a good. Nowhere in Copilot does it say where you can add an MCP or a connector.
So it does. Hold on, let me pop my Copilot here so I can read what it said. So it basically said, go to the store. Went to the store. Mindy's not there. And then if it says it's not listed, the app must be available in the app Microsoft Copilot App Store or provided as a Copilot agent connector by the vendor before it can be added to Copilot. And so, our IT company has a way to give us apps in a store
Right.
that's only for the company.
Yep.
And so that's why I'm thinking, so I already opened a ticket with them.
Okay, it says under your agent in Copilot Studio, you go to Tools, Add Tool, New Tool. So on Copilot Studio.
I don't know what Copilot Studio is. I've got Copilot open.
Okay.
Is it new agent, did you say?
No, it says under Copilot, let me see. So here, I just put the link in there, Copilot Studio, Microsoft. It's in the chat.
Okay.
Well, what's funny is, because the government asked me the same question, so they're going to check with me on Monday if they can get it, because I have a couple of government people. But I'm like, so they have Claude, but they don't know if they can add the connector with Claude.
Right.
But
again, the IT teams
right.
have admin rights that are restricted
Right.
from
Right.
adding AI tools on a free-for-all basis.
Yeah, but what's interesting about this, Letitia? What do you think the government people do? What's their workaround? They just go add another computer. They don't not use it. They just like, okay, well, we can't use that computer. We're using this computer.
I know.
Like, it's not like.
I'm the owner of my company. I have to leave my by example, so I can't.
No, I'm not saying you to do that. That's why I said the government people. I didn't say, you, the polished, great citizen.
Yeah.
I said because the interesting thing, Brandon, I mean, he's probably it's not there, but so Letitia, the government has a new program called Links. Have you heard about it?
Don't even get me started. Box of links.
Listen, hold on, wait.
We have invested hours into building the profile.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
30%.
It doesn't work.
It's ridiculous.
No, listen. So they know it doesn't work, just so you know.
It's terrible.
No.
Don't waste your time until they figure out how
Letitia,
to work.
listen, you know what it is? So my son, I don't know where he's at, but Lewis, come on up. Lewis Reed, where you at? You know what, Letitia, we got a safety security guy on this call, and he's been quiet. He's a little bit introverted. Lewis, he's texting me. Lewis, come up. What are you doing?
Put your hand up, Lewis.
Lewis.
I'll unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, dude, what are you doing? You sitting there letting us struggle.
I had to try it out for myself first, so
Still, you're more.
So if you go to your, if you use the M365, and if you go to your admin center,
Yes.
so admin.cloud.microsoft, if you go there, you should see Copilot on your left-hand blade. And if you see Copilot, you should see overview and connectors.
So Letitia, Lewis works for secured environment government shops, and that's what he does. So he does all this stuff for the government. Well, as a contractor on behalf of the government.
Yes. See. So.
But he's sitting there quiet.
I was muted, so I didn't want to say. That's why
You know what? That's why we have you on a call.
All right, so I'm trying to even find my admin center because I've got way too many things open here.
Lewis, do you have a way to share your screen? Or is it, you can't?
I'm on the computer.
Okay.
I got a couple of things up right now. So
Okay.
I could easily walk through it though. So, because if you go to another browser or another URL, you could just literally type in admin.cloud.microsoft.
Should take. All right, now I'm ready to be dangerous. I think my IT people might kill me.
No. Hey, you got IT people on this call here. Remember, we're government contractors, so you got IT people sitting on this call.
All right, so it's Copilot and then
Yeah.
settings.
Yep, Copilot. So if you click the caret for Copilot, you should see overview, connectors, prompt settings.
Yep.
Okay, so go to connectors.
Actually, I don't see connectors.
Ooh.
See, they restrict us, even though
Right.
I have admin rights. My admin rights are restricted.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Security.
It's
Security.
okay.
That's
It's
right.
what you.
Someone says they see connectors, so maybe your admins are, like you said, Letitia, someone says they do see it.
Yeah. So, but again, my IT SP is, they've got us, we're abiding by all of the NIST 800 171s that we need to.
Sure.
All of that other stuff. And so it's okay. Sometimes I need to knock on the door and say, Mother may I, but.
Are you commercial, GCC, or GCCH?
All right, so we are commercial.
Okay, good.
And yeah, so we actually reverted from GCCH to commercial. And it was a debate, do we go to commercial or do we go to just GCC? we decided to just go back to commercial because we implemented, sorry, this is IT speak for everybody, but it might be helpful for y'all to know this because everybody's like, CMMC, hit a pause button, but it doesn't mean that you're not still supposed to be compliant. So we implemented something called Prevail, Preveil. And so all our CUI resides on Prevail, which is encrypted at rest, encrypted in transmission, and it is outside of our Office 365 enclave. And so as long as we're managing all of the CUI on Prevail, we are fine that it's not living in our OneDrive environment in a commercial Microsoft 365.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's way less expensive because when you get into GCC licensing, don't even get me started on the high cost of GCCH, man, because
Yeah.
that was insane licensing costs and huge restrictions on anything. We lost our ability to add people that were from the outside so that we could do collaboration in SharePoint for proposal development and all kinds of other functionality. You lose it in GCCH.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, and thank you for your attempts to try to help. I will go get permission and ask IT in that ticket.
There you go. Yeah.
Zero out.
There you go. That's all right. No problem.
Thank you.
Ask IT. Do you have our email in case you need us to do something on our end? That might help because, Shanor, can you put it in there again? That way.
Thank you, Sonora.
So, that way, because they may want something from us. So, which I won't be surprised if they do. That's why I got Lewis here. So Lewis will figure out what we need to do on the backside. Lewis, what is your real title? I call him my security team, Letitia, because I'm not that bright. So what do you what's your Lewis, what is your official? Where's he at? Did he go away? You see? They go on mute so fast. You see, Letitia?
Security engineer Reed, is that Reed?
Yeah, Lewis Reed. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
Oh, see? He's chatting it. Look, cloud security engineer. There you go. See?
Cloud security engineer.
There you go. Love it. I love it. Okay, I love it. So,
I'm gonna mute myself again.
all right. Thank you, Lewis. There you go. Yeah. But all right, well listen, like I said, I don't think I went through my list of questions. I don't see any more questions in the chat. Everybody looks like their hearts are content. People ask me about connecting with Microsoft Copilot. So, like I said, this is what I want to accomplish today. I hope everyone gets a chance to play with it. I hope everyone gets a chance to leverage some of the capacities. So again, it's not easy when you try to do new things. I said that in the beginning. For those of you guys who were started with me at 10 a.m. this morning, right? It's like you're always on the cusp of people saying about security and all that stuff. I just find it interesting because, that's why I have Lewis here. Because Lewis is my good shoulder guy. Letitia, if it's me, I have a different response to the security things. But like I said, for me, we want to do everything we can to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. And so ideally, whatever Lewis tells me to do, I'm going to do. Okay. I don't even argue anymore. He's like, put this, put that. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll do it. All right. So I look forward to you guys sharing with me everything that you've been able to do. I hope that you build out your conference agendas with it. I hope that you challenge some government folks. I hope you find some new OTA opportunities in construction. I hope you find some new partners. And we'll probably do another session next month, after we come back, right? So we'll continue teaching on it, but today I wanted to leave everybody connected at least so that when you see us talking about these things, you're not using the old antiquated ways. So, all right. Well, listen, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. All right. Bye now. All right. And so here for everybody on YouTube and LinkedIn, thank you guys. I didn't get a chance to talk to you directly. So you know what? I'll hang out here for a little bit. There's 44 people still on here. So let me hang out here and talk to you directly since I had a chance to talk to my people online. So, Bonita said, Eric, I broke my Mindy. Can you reset it, please? How you broke Mindy already? All right. Look, again, my job from the beginning has been giving you guys access to information that was not currently available, right? When I first came on YouTube, that's what we did, right? We put all of the content on YouTube to start making free content to educate you on this. People put that behind paywalls. And then now we're starting to put the data online so that you guys can see everything. Again, my thesis is discoverability is the problem, right? So, and we continue to train and teach and help support small businesses. So the easiest way to learn the basics of government contracting to scale up is effectively by watching some of the content that we already have, joining any of the groups. There's a lot of groups around the country that teach government contracting, like Small Business Development Centers, Apex. Start with your local economic development agencies, right? There's a lot of those groups out there that teach government contracting. So you could start with any one of them, right? That's what I would say to start off with. So Wilson, how would you utilize Mindy to start incorporating your process of connecting with and seeking subcontractors? So what I would do is, for me, so if I were, so someone mentioned earlier about construction. So let's just put, I am a construction company in Jackson, Mississippi, and I want to get started with government contracts. What approach should I take? So again, I would do something like that, right? And then again, have Mindy essentially go out and it'll start pulling data. So it'll start searching for past contracts, as you guys can see on the screen. Ali, my man. All right. And so it'll essentially start basically pulling that information. And then what it'll do is it'll give you a report, right? And then it'll start building out like a report for you. And from there, it'll tell you what it thinks you should do. So here's an example. All right, good news. Jackson sits between two of the best small business on-ramps in the federal system. All right, Hub Zone set aside, WSB set aside, STVOSB set aside, at USACE, Vicksburg. This is not a coincidence. They're a recurring system that cycles bank stabilization, and grade control work continuously in bite-sized packages. Vicksburg reserves most of it. This is your single best entry if you qualify for a cert. solve bonding before anything else, check hub zone eligibility, register properly, chase task orders, sub for it. So again, if I had more context on who you are and what you do, then it would be much easier for me to be able to do this stuff. So again, that would be the same thing. This whole thing is on YouTube right now. You're actually watching on YouTube and LinkedIn. Do we have training courses? So all of our training courses, you have to be an active Mindy subscriber, have a license to have access to our training courses. We no longer offer training as a service. If you're a newbie, my recommendation is to watch of our free content on YouTube, our free podcast. We're not, and then if you want to actually go through our training courses, then you get a subscription for our tools, and then we'll teach you how to use it, right? But if we do not sell training to small businesses as a service, we do not offer training. But if you have access to our tools, then yes, you can get trained for it. Yeah. Again, if you're new, there's a lot of stuff out here. Yes, you're seeing the AI readout from what we asked it. Let's see. What else? Again, two things that we surfaced today. One was obviously, the MCP, which you can use. But the second thing was just the maps and learning about opportunities and discoverability and your areas, right? So just being able to see what's available, see what's out there, looking at the opportunities, identifying them, sharing with people that you know, and seeing if it's something that you can even qualify for. I think that is probably the bigger thing for a lot of, if you're a new person, is, essentially just kind of discovering what's out there in the marketplace, right? And then talking to people about it, and seeing who out there might be a good partner for you. Oh, Tam, what's going on? Tam Reed, my girl. Subscription rates. So if you go on our website, getmindy.ai, if you just go on our website, everything is on there. Just scroll down. There you go. Okay. What else do you beautiful people have for me today? Everybody's having a great Saturday? We good? The biggest thing that I tell people all the time is that, and I'm going to close out with this, I want to leave you guys with this, is that you really should, it doesn't make any sense for us, right? It doesn't make any sense, okay? When the government is giving out 78% of the awards to want-to-know bidders, it doesn't make sense for us to sit on the sideline anymore and not participate. So, what I like to leave everybody with today is get off the sideline, get in the game, right? Figure this thing out. If you really want something bad enough, you'll figure it out, okay? That's what people do. You don't need to wait anymore. You need to get off the sideline. Stop listening to all the negative people. Stop listening to the naysayers. I'm showing the data that people can do it regardless of where you start from. And that's the point that I like to leave people with today, is you can do it regardless of where you start from. So for me, I think a lot of us is we're overthinking it. And I saw something this morning that, you know, for me, I think a lot of times school and education is making us dumber, not smarter, because we're so in our heads and we're trained to be robots that we're not doing any cognitive thinking. And so we're like overanalyzing the whole world when, to be honest with you, a lot of stuff that if we look at, the people that are holding us accountable for these things, they aren't doing these things themselves. So they're just creating these burdens for you to put you in a box to overthink and overanalyze and not do. And so I like to say, go to the stop sign, start there first, do what you can first, and then from there you'll run into the next objection. Not try to have it all solved A to Z all the way to the end. Start what you can do. And do that. Go to the stop sign, right? Pull up a bid. Look at the bid. Analyze the bid. Reach out to suppliers. See if anybody talks to you. Like, I mean, call someone. Get them on the phone. Have a meeting. So, you know, oh no, I didn't say subscribe. I said go on YouTube. I don't care if you subscribe or not. I mean, I've been teaching this. I've got thousands of courses, thousands of videos. Nobody watches. So it's appalling that all of a sudden people want to watch content and videos when I had 7, 10, 12 coaches making content, 2 or 3 trainings a day, people complain about it was too much training and too much learning, not enough activity. Now I'm giving you the tools to actually go out, do it. So, you know, so, but it's I connected Claude and chat, and now I'm unable to log back into Mindy. Connecting both may have created an authentication conflict. But why do you need to connect both Claude and chat? Why not just connect one? You know, why not connect one? So, all right, well, listen, I'm going to go get some lunch. It's been a pleasure today. Hopefully, you know, I mean, I pay for both too. And I have, by the way, I have both of them connected also. So I don't know, because right here on my chat, I have Mindy right here. Okay. Here's my chat. I don't know why it's so slow right now. But I don't know what chat is doing. Chat doing the most right now. But right here, under plugins, I have Mindy on chat. So I have it. Oh, it says install connected different things. And then I have it here in Claude. I don't know what's up with chat. Okay, there you go. Mindy's install your chat. It's just not active in this conversation. That's all. So I have it both. Yeah, no, please repost, please share. I don't mind. Base 44 is a place that builds apps. It's not really a place to use AI. I actually don't like Base 44 because when you're trying to build with there, you actually don't have control of your back end. So I'm not a fan of it. But it's a great place to start to do something different. You know, but again, for me, I really think that, look, I promise you guys, I don't want to do this stuff. I would rather someone else do this. But when I asked all the software providers to make affordable solutions for small businesses, they did not have an interest in helping you guys. They still don't have an interest in helping you guys. So just like when, I was on YouTube looking for content about government contracts, back 10 years ago, it didn't exist. I made it. So when I'm looking for solutions for small businesses in the software and the tools area, and they're telling me the cheapest I can get is a $10,000 subscription, and I asked them for more affordable options, they didn't exist. I used GovTribe, but they got bought by private equity. I like HireGov, they got acquired by a private equity funded company. So everyone keeps getting rolled up to private equity. They keep up in the subscriptions. They keep giving you less data. And so the juice is just not worth the squeeze. I showed you guys, I use it for my own stuff. But ultimately, for me, that is the only way I've done these things. It's not because I actually wanted to do it, but the people that we entrusted, that I hope would have created solutions for us, have no interest in helping us. And when you realize that, you're going to get off your butts and you're going to do something about it. And so naturally, I'm a builder. I build communities. I've always built communities my whole life. I've been a part of communities growing up in church. And so, for me, that's what I do. And so I built communities on YouTube. I built communities here I built communities similarly. So, for me, I'm just always trying to build a community that we can have to give normal people access to information that can help them be more competitive, that can be on the same playing field as everyone else, but at a price that makes sense. And easy to use, because for me, if it's not easy, it doesn't help. So giving you a complicated solution doesn't help you either. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying, because they got bought by private equity. That's why their price went through the roof. I used to love GovTribe. I used to promote GovTribe all the time. I loved them. And their price went through the roof when they got acquired. And if you don't know this, here, I'll show you guys. That's what happens, so that's it. But yeah, so I think we're actually better than GovTribe now, because GovTribe, HireGov just have a lot of data. And what we've done is we've taken the data and we've made it usable. So the reason why when people say, we could do that. Well, SAM.gov, 40% of the opportunities have no geocoding, so you don't know where they're at. Half the opportunities have no scope of work, so you don't have any text or context of what that is. So if you were to just take an API from SAM and replace it, you would be giving people more bad data. So if you don't actually do anything with the data to make it usable, you're not helping people. And so that's what I'll say to that, is that if you think that you can just take your SAM API and publish it, it's bad data. And so for me, right, that doesn't solve the issues. The other thing is, I say like HireGov, for example, is like a calculator, right? So the calculator is only good as what you type in. So if you type in the wrong math problem, the calculator doesn't know that, right? Because it's just numbers. So the idea behind what we've created is we have built-in tools that do the thinking for you, so that you don't have to know always the right thing to ask or say. And so the idea is, even for people like my man just put on the screen, I'm old school. The reason why these tools go across layers is because data alone is not useful to most people. So just giving you data sources without having like any intuition of what you're trying to do with the data is also not useful for the majority of us, because we don't even know what we're supposed to be asking of the data and what we should be looking for. So that's why, again, having just wrappers of data to me are basically useless for 99% of us, because if you're not experienced, if you've never done contracts, like you're like, okay, Eric, I got all this data. What do I ask it? Well, you don't know, right? And so the difference is, and here it shows you on the screen, public data is a commodity layer. It's generally useful, and that's where most agents start, open solicitation for. However, it's as a layer is a commodity. What people need, right, is competitive intelligence. So you need to know more than just public data, searching, getting contracts, getting this. But what about the intelligence, the buyer beneath the department label, the specific buying office, the budget trend, its set aside behavior, the name people who buy it, right? What about that information that you can't get publicly, right? And so then you have to then teach the data, right? What is it you're trying to do with it? How should it talk to each other? And then what it should be doing for the people that are using it. Yes, we pulled up all the attachments. Yes. No, you don't have to download any attachments in Mindy. That's the beautiful thing about Mindy. No, you're not downloading. The attachments are already there. Here, when you go into Mindy right now and you look at opportunities, here, look at this screen. Right there. Here's the documents. Here are the attachments right here. I mean, they're right there. And then if you have the paid subscription, when you get ready to actually write to Mindy like this, like you want a response, you don't need to download the documents, upload them in a folder, right? To then upload them into your system. Because you got to go on SAM, download them, put them in a folder, organize it, then upload it to another system to write against it. That's already done for you. It's already done. If you want to bid this and start the pursuit here, generate proposal, it already has the documents preloaded for you to respond to. Correct, Moran. That's just the first layer, correct. That's layer one, Moran. Morelam J, yes. So that's what I'm saying, right? If you are trying to, like, say you want to like build your own SAM fetcher, that's great. But again, the problem that you have to solve for is the problem that this guy just mentioned. You also have to solve for your API timing out. You also have to solve for how do you get it to talk to the rest of the data that you need to do something with. So how do you get this information, right? How do you understand this information? How do you understand, right, all of the people, the related opportunities? How do you get that to talk to and understand it? Because, okay, yes, I've got this bid, but what do I do? Okay, yes, if I'm not bidding this, or if I don't qualify for this, what else could I qualify for that I'm not seeing? And how do I find it when knowing that the government misclassifies most of their opportunities? That's the intelligence part that takes being built. It's not exactly intuitive, unfortunately. I mean, at least it wasn't for me. You might be smarter than me and you might figure out it's intuitive, but I can tell you that Mindy is not our first product. One, I've been building software since I was in college. So let's start there. My very first company was a software company. I don't advertise that. I raised money for it. We were building software for I've been in software my whole life. My first product was a software company that we built for actual health. We call it health and but basically gyms. So we built software for gyms that ran on Palm Pilot and PDA devices. I then sold software to hair and nail salons called Elite Software. We sold a point of sale system that tracked inventory supplies for hair and nail salons. I did that back in the early 2000s. So, and then my first product in the government contracting sector, we've been building out spreadsheets and templates since I've been online training. So I've been using, because you can code using Microsoft Word and Microsoft Word. And so we've been coding in that using Excel sheets and Google Sheets since I started training online. We've been giving that to our paid members that are in some of our classes. And then 2 years ago, we built our first AI product called OpenGov IQ. So this is not me having a wild idea to start building something all of a sudden. It's me begging every software company to make products for us that they said that it didn't benefit them, because everybody here wants free. They don't want to pay any money. So like, you can't make your money off small businesses. So I'm like, that's fine. But if you think about how much time you're going to spend trying to recreate this more, for a couple $100, you'd be better off just getting credits. But it's okay. I mean, I won't stop anybody. I think everyone could, has the autonomy. Again, I wish somebody built this so I can use it just to go get contracts. It was not my goal to be in this. The money is in contracts. That's where the money's at. So, but all right, guys, listen, I got to get some food. I just saw 40 people hanging out here on LinkedIn and YouTube that I didn't show no love to all day. So I want to come over here and show you guys some love. I appreciate you coming on. Again, if there's anything that we could do for you, we've got a team. You could call us. We're not hiding. We got phone numbers, emails. We're not avoiding anybody. Anybody wants to call us, you can set up a call. Not necessarily with me. It pays to talk to me, but our team is there. We're doing demos for people. We're teaching you how to use our tools to do government contracts, because if I showed you the old way, you would it'd blow your mind. My boy owns the biggest courier service here in Tulsa. What's the tips you can give us? So again, my tip I can give you is go to Mindy and tell Mindy this. Like, this is a Mindy question. This is like, go to Mindy. Look, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do one more demo. All right. I'm going to do one more demo for you guys. All right, here we go. Here's the demo. Watch this. I'm going to do it live. My man said, I'm taking his screenshot. I took a screenshot of his text. I'm throwing it in Mindy. Y'all can see that, right? So I took his text. I threw it in Mindy. That's his screenshot of this text. My buddy just launched property service in Tulsa. Okay. I'm throwing in Mindy. And I'm going to let Mindy go to work. I ain't going to say nothing. My man said, hold on. You look at my Claude. Sounds like you got to go back and watch this video today. So I took your text that you wrote. I took a screenshot and I dumped it in Mindy. Well, I dumped it in Claude, and Claude is using Mindy. And we're about to give you an entire strategy plan in 5 minutes. I cannot do this any other way, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do this any other way. I'm going to show you what it's going to do for you. Here's an answer for Mars you can deliver on air. I pulled the actual Tulsa data, so it's not generic advice. First of all, disabled vet is a whole ball game, but only if it's real. He needs an SBA vet cert, not self-certification. Requirements, 51% ownership. Their home field buyer is 15 minutes away. USA's Tulsa district. Here, the corps buys mowing and janitorial for lakes, dams, exactly startup-sized chunks. Here's the people who want it. Here's a timing gift. The bulk of those roll over in February 2027, which means the recompetes hit SAM around November to January. A company that registers today has a real shot. Here's their contracting officer's number. Julie, Lee, Terry, they're all live point of contacts that we have inside of Mindy. Second buyer's VA. The courier business is worth more than they think separately. VA Warwick Couriers in Oklahoma City, 1 million running to September. Most OK Courier spends goes to FedEx, UPS, GSA through BPAs. Tell them to register both as NAICS, this one, facility support, this one. 2 companies, 1 integrated facilities plus logistics story. The traps that kills first-time services, a service contract act. Okay, what to do this month? Brother, it's not way more in depth than ChatGPT. Mindy is the intelligence layer. You're talking to Chat. Chat is a search bot that searches public websites. Mindy is a federal government intelligence layer with over 1 million lines of code of data that it's pulling from that is authenticated by the government. So that's it. What's the difference? So again, go back and watch the video. We went over this. We went over the data. We went over the layers. Again, we showed you how to do it. We showed you how to sign up. We showed you how to use it. So ChatGPT can't pull this. So again, I'm going to take your question, right? I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to show you guys this is how I do stuff. I'm going to take your question. I'm going to go to Claude and I'm going to use Claude to answer your question. All right. And I'm going to show you on the screen. So here you go. I'm taking your question. I'm putting it on the screen. So this says, one-line version, ChatGPT knows about federal contracting. Mindy is connected to federal contracting. It's a difference. All right. Frame it here. The answer you just gave, Mars, 7 named incumbents, exact dollar figures, when they expire, real contract officer numbers. If you tell Chat to go do this, or Gemini, the same question, you'll get register on SAM, consider a mentor protege, go to your Apex, generic, worth nothing on Monday morning. So the real differences are live structured data, not a training snapshot. The models have knowledge cutoff at best, a web search that scratches SAM public pages, whereas Mindy's wired straight into these data sources. So answer questions that are not search questions, right? It tells you when it doesn't know. Mindy runs on the same models that you guys are using. It's built this vehicle around it, okay? So you should not stop using Chat, but you can't tell it that, you know, Cowboy Cutters holds 2 mowing contracts at Tulsa District that come up for recompete in 18 months. So as I said, if you want a mic drop, pull Mindy on screen and run a Tulsa search live in 30 seconds at Lantar or anything else. I'm not going to do that, but there you go. I'm asking if I wanted to talk to you like as if 5-year-old parents. Thank you for your help. Hey. Again, I can't help if people get offended. When you come to Puerto Rico, I'll be in Puerto Rico soon. So, all right, well, listen, you guys be good. Thank you. Go back and watch the video if you have any questions.